Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic, TBC Classic, Wrath Classic, and the communities. I am Bobby, also known as Blazin' Bob, and once again, we're joined by the beautiful Mel, aka Melorina. How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. Here, it's Sunday.
This is a weird time for us to record. I don't think we've ever done a Sunday, but it's going to be a wild day for me because I'll be editing right after this. Usually I get a nice little break, but yeah, it's going to be
It's like Saturday/Sunday, right? Because we've got Memorial Day here, so
true,
still kind of,
true.
it'll be right. It'll be fine.
But we also have two returning guests. We've got Winky coming back. How you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Winky overslept a bit and is trying to wake up, so he's gonna pucker up throughout the episode.
I double shot G Fuel today, so I think we'll be okay. I think we're all right.
And joining the show after a long hiatus is Hamsterwheel. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me again for the second time. I should have timed it a little bit better because if I was a little bit later, I would have been there on episode 100, but I just missed out. So, damn it.
Well, you should still get to be on episode 100. We reached out to different people who've been on the pod, and we're hoping to get some shout outs. I got a few already. I'm hoping we get more. I'm hoping they're just procrastinating, but I might bug them.
You want me to
one
dress
more
up
time.
like Tyrannosaur and send you one?
That would be hilarious.
100%.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll find a mullet wig.
Oh, all right. Well, all right, guys. So today we're gonna go through. We got one email, and then we're gonna go through what we've been doing in WoW lately, and we'll get to a little bit of raid progress. I don't know what Winky has going on, but I've got some stuff to talk about in raid progress. Then there wasn't much news, but we're going to go over the news. But since there wasn't much news at the end of the show, I thought it would be fun to I dug into the patch notes of all of Wrath of the Lich King and went cross-eyed with all the changes. And so I tried to find changes that a lot of people haven't talked about yet. And I thought that would be an interesting thing to talk about because there's a lot of really interesting ones that are small but kind of big, and I definitely didn't get into the class changes because each patch there were just like at least 20 to 25 changes to each class. I mean, it was, if you're gonna go through that, you almost, I don't think anybody's gonna do it because it was just too much. But we're gonna get into that to end the show out, and then that'll be the show. So that being said, Mel, do you want to read the email that we got?
Sure. Do that. Very tiny screen.
Oh, well, here, before you do that, I always forget to do this. I want to remind everybody, if you want to catch us live, we do record live on Twitch at twitch.tv/BlazinBob. That's BLAZZINBOB. We do it anywhere from Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, just depending on guests and times. If you want to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded, we always tweet when we go live. Then also, our friend Yip has posted a teaser for his new video tomorrow on Twitter, and the new video is called "Chicken in the Streets." So I don't know what it's gonna be, but I think you should go check it out. It should be out probably when you hear this, on Monday morning, and you can see that on YouTube by going to The Yip Show or searching The Yip Show. So definitely check that out. I know I will be checking it out. All right, Mel, you got the review
I
ready?
hope it's Yip going to the one area in Classic where you have to like cluck at these chickens for it to become your pet.
Oh yeah, the chicken quest. That would be kind of funny.
He titled that tweet "Chicken in the Streets, Chicken in the Sheets."
Ooh.
Oh,
new video incoming tomorrow.
I wonder if it's something comedy. What if it's gonna be
It's
like
gotta
a comedy
be. It's
video?
gotta. It's a picture for the listeners. It's a picture of him on his chicken mount from Magister's Terrace,
Which he got
and then it's a
first
picture
run.
of him as a boomkin.
Oh,
yeah.
So if
okay,
he's
I'm interested.
if he's saying Boomkin in the sheets, this might just be something YouTube demonetizes.
Well, he has been doing the last few days, been doing Boomkin arena matches. So I wonder if any of that's
Oh,
going to get in there.
no.
I don't know. You guys going to have to just go to his channel
Oh,
to find
no.
out.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a very cryptic tweet, and now I'm definitely watching the video. So
Yeah, he
job well done from Yip.
did on purpose. Error mystery, like, what is it? We don't know.
What
You
could
gotta
it
click on
be?
it.
Yep,
Oh,
that's the
God.
real clickbait. Just put a Boomkin.
Yep. Oh, and yeah, to like let everybody else know too, he's also coming on for episode 100 next week, so don't miss that either.
Ah,
Yeah, returning, right?
The prodigal son returns.
He couldn't make it solo, guys. He's coming back.
That was a quick solo career, damn.
yeah,
He found it's all going to depend on how his chicken episode does. How his chicken
really
video
is.
does, right? So maybe we shouldn't support him.
yeah. No, don't.
I mean-
okay, you're here to hear first. Mel doesn't want to support Yip.
Yip's solo career.
It'll be the
needs to
one
die.
dislike on the video.
I mean, he plays a balanced dude, so he has mine. Like, I'm on his team right now. So
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh man.
All right, Melly,
All right.
go ahead.
Yeah, we got an email. Longtime listener Felber here. I recently stepped away from Classic WoW for a number of real life reasons and wanted to tell you I appreciate the show even more now. I get the same amount of thrill hearing that you guys downed a new boss in SWP as I do when I see my guild do it in Discord. It keeps me attached to this game and people that I spent the last 2+ years with. Makes me feel like I'm still there DPSing a boss. Show is still great. You miss Yip, but Bob and Mel are amazing. Thanks. I'm not going to read the last line. That's not appropriate.
What?
I can read it if you want.
No.
Oh,
Send him in the
yes, I
chat, I'm
forgot
curious.
he is a Raiders fan. Yeah, he always gives me shit on Twitter. If anybody doesn't remember Felber, he guested as a listener on one of our shows talking about how he came in as a super casual and ended up in like a speed running, top 10 guild. And so that was a pretty interesting episode. I forget which one it was, but it's there somewhere in the 99 episodes we have. All right, so what's everybody been doing in WoW? Do we want to let the guests go first? Winky, you want to go?
Yeah, I can keep you updated. So what's funny is there's a lot of people talking about like Wrath prep and like what we're doing for Wrath, and Wrath is incoming. It's coming fast, and people are on private servers and playing one of every class so that they can figure out what they want to do, or things like that, or some people are grinding gold and GDKPs and stuff. I'm taking the opposite approach because this is the first time, like, I've never in my life taken a break because I've always been like, FOMO sets in where I'm like, I'm not going to be ready for Wrath. Like, what am I going to do? My guild's going to go and I'm not going to have any gold for my enchants. And, I got a level character just for inscription and, random things like that. Right. But this time I've got a plan. I am taking a step backwards with playing World of Warcraft. And I'm doing it in the effort of, I've got a lot of stuff going on in my real life. I closed on a house on Monday. I'm a homeowner now. I'm not in it yet.
Congrats.
Yeah,
join the club.
I'm not in it yet.
It's a lot of paperwork.
Dude, I signed so much my wrist was hurting.
It's
like by the end of it.
It's like a stack that's like 2 inches thick.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have the package in the kitchen, but I'm going to be moving within in the next 30 days. I'm going to get into the new house and get that all set up with the girlfriend, and my dogs are going to have a backyard they can go run around in, which is going to be really nice.
Oh, yeah. Doggy door, dude. Doggy door is clutch.
I've already got it planned. Don't trust me.
So nice. I miss having doggy doors so bad.
So I've been kind of just taking a step back. I quit my raiding guild on one server. I'm in 2 guilds, so I'm only raiding with 1 guild now. As opposed to raiding 4 nights a week. Now I'm raiding 1 night a week, which is really nice. And I'm kind of approaching it like work-life balance. Like sometimes if you don't want to burn out really early into an expansion pack where phase 1 is bound to be kind of boring,
Mhm.
you just have to step back from the game a little bit, and then I'll go really hard on like pre-patch into launch maybe. But I think I've actually really enjoyed it. I've never like stepped away from anything with the like for like mental integrity or capacity or anything like that. It actually feels great.
Well, I mean, it's a good time to do it. I mean, Sunwell's really tough, and honestly, the gear jump in Wrath is much larger than it was Nax gear to TBC. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there is
Mhm.
definitely Sunwell stuff for certain classes, especially certain set bonuses and stuff that's going to be really good through Nax. But I mean, honestly, like it's almost a complete reset for most classes,
Yeah.
specs, and everything. So,
The earliest greens you can get in Wrath is item level 138. And so that's like I think like above tier 5 even. And that's like the earliest greens you can get. And I think like the highest green, so to say, that you can get in like Storm Peaks and such are item level 174. So you replace
wow.
a lot of stuff. And then like blues are item level 200, which is like an average of 50 item levels above really good epics right now in TBC. So it's crazy. The jump is really high.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
I've heard that you like literally nothing stays. There's not even like, I think I was talking to Crix, and there's maybe one item I can get that would be decent in Nax at
Yeah.
80. So
See, what's sad is like my rogue needs 2-piece, tier 6, but you want the 2-piece from Sunwell because that gear is so much better. But the
Yeah, belt
2-piece
braziers. Yeah.
for rogue is like pretty dang good with the haste. So I'll try to get that probably like late, maybe even in pre-patch. Try and jump in a because in pre-patch the rogue should jump up to be quite good with the new talents. So looking to
Somebody
maybe
might
get in a
allow you in their group.
GDKP. Yeah, you might actually get in a group as a rogue.
is there going to be a race, do you think, for first Death Knight to clear Sunwell during pre-patch?
I don't know. I mean,
Mm.
Is it just like a weird prestigious thing? Like you can just tell your buddies like 5 years later, yeah, I was the first Death Knight that cleared Sunwell.
It's
You know?
it's a good icebreaker when you see a girl at the bar. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
there
kind
you
of a
go.
big deal, you know.
Yeah, I'm kind of I tried that once. I was at a bar. I was like, hey, I've got 4 characters to 60 without dying.
Damn.
Means nothing.
No.
Like,
those are the kind of things
They're
that
like,
might have
wow.
meant something at the bar at BlizzCon, maybe.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Maybe true.
that's very true.
When you
Get your
surround
Letterman jacket with
yourself
4
with other
patches on it.
people.
Yeah.
But then she finds out you're a whore, and she's like, no.
hmm
Never mind.
Sounds about
Oh,
right.
come on. No love for the horde. What's going on, guys? Come on.
No.
Oh,
Actually,
man.
yeah, we're all allied. So now I haven't played Horde in a minute. This feels good. I feel clean.
Welcome to the good
You
side
know?
over here.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how you guys play alongside gnomes. Please explain that to me. How do you do that? Come on.
How
Hey
do you
man,
not?
it's super easy. We just can't cast it yet.
I actually I took a lot of crap for playing a warlock in classic that wasn't a gnome because of the int buff.
Yeah.
Racial.
Yeah, I got a lot of crap for playing a human priest instead of a dwarf priest, but come on, the dwarves, they're
I
not.
think
In vanilla,
playing a
our
human
guild
priest
had-
is where I draw the line. If you play human priest, you're actually just trolling your guild members.
No.
Dude, we had
No.
3
Like-
human priests in Varg Flocken in
Mhm.
classic vanilla WoW.
And a rotating dwarf priest. We just kept
Oh,
losing our
no.
dwarf priest, right?
Wow.
Come on.
The
let's be
our GM
honest.
was a human priest, and he had to be the GM because none of the other guilds wanted him because he was human.
Oh man.
Come on, you go alliance for the aesthetically pleasing
That's true.
everything. You're not gonna play a dwarf.
Yeah. That's
I
what
will
said.
say, like, gear on human male and human female does really look good because of like the posture and everything. So I
Mhm.
understand. Yeah.
That's what I said when people said stuff about my gnomes. I was like, yo, I play human female because it looks the coolest. Like the gear, when you have like nice like warlock shoulders and like cool, it looks good on a human
Yeah.
female. It doesn't
And the
look that
casting
good.
animation is kind of cool too. Like they
Yeah.
like, yeah, I understand. Like
Dude,
I don't blame
I
you guys.
think plate looks the coolest on human males. But You know, biased being a human male.
And then you parse better than the people who talk crap on you.
Yeah,
And then you just hold it over. I'm like, imagine playing a gnome and parsing lower than a human. You know?
Well, if you do parse lower than them, you always have an excuse. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I'm a
exactly.
Well, and
you
in
should be
TBC, the gnome racial goes from like 10% to 5% intellect, so it's not even that big of a deal, like in TBC as it was in vanilla. And then,
and I got my Kara rings earlier. I got my reputation for all the heroic keys faster. That was,
of course, because 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, where are you at, gnomes? Come at me now.
And who's gonna have last man standing? Or
yeah, exactly.
Now it's called will to survive. Excuse me.
Don't even get me started on what I think they should do with the racials. I think it's unfair.
Oh, it's always been unfair. But of course, now that Alliance is going to be on top in PvP racials, of course, now they're talking about removing them from Arena. Not, in TBC, but now.
Bad. It's bad when the Alliance human player is like against the Alliance human being the only people with the racial. Like I've been playing Alliance human and I still feel bad for the Horde because I'm like, dude, there's anyone who takes Arena it like moderately seriously is gonna have to re-roll human.
Yeah,
it's just unfair. It's a broken racial.
Yeah, and and you could like it doesn't share the CD, so you could either have 2 trinkets or you could just have 1 trinket like everybody else and then have 2 good damage trinkets, or use trinkets. And so it's definitely rough, but it is pretty funny. Although the PvE racials are still in the Horde side come Wrath.
Yeah,
so.
Berserking is crazy and Blood Fury is still good. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure, that like the PvP ratio for Alliance is more powerful, but come on, how long have the Horde been like on top of racials? Like to Classic Vanilla, Classic TBC. At some point, you got to give it to the Alliance like a little bit. Hey, man, if they really get like super sweaty about it, just reroll, man. Just reroll. Go to Alliance.
I don't know if they should allow this. I know we're getting into a different topic altogether, but like allowing character and race changes would ruin the balance, the already messed up balance that there is. Like everyone would just go straight Alliance human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone who cares
said they
about
weren't going
PvP.
to, right?
Yeah, but I wish they would allow it, right? But the only way they could allow it is by fixing the major draw for why everyone would go shift to a different meta option,
Right.
Because if they could fix the racial problem, they could just enable class race changes. Well, not class changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they could do a thing where, you could just, like, for Arena, you could just declare your race. Because, I don't think letting anybody have any power is a good idea, because then you won't know that this gnome has, thunderclap. You won't know how this, human got out of your snare because he was using the gnome.
It'd be entertaining.
But if it just
I think that's
changed
a good thing,
them,
though.
Yeah, if it just changed them before they zoned in, like that could work.
But imagine if you did allow that gnome to have, thunder, whatever it is, thunder stomp that Taurens get, and like weird things, right? Because we all know the meta would be the last man standing, or whatever it's called, right?
Yeah,
Every man for himself, I think.
Every man for themselves.
It's every man for
it used
himself.
To be that, then they changed it.
Now it's called Will to Survive. Will, it's called now.
Oh, okay.
So Will to Survive. Everyone would be running that. And then when people don't, it would be like an off meta. Like if you guys ever play like Magic the Gathering or any card game that's competitive, you have a sidebar, right? You've got a stack of cards that your opponent doesn't know what they are.
Yeah.
After game 1, you swap them out, right? To play against or to whichever strengths your opponent's doing, and they're doing the same thing. So I think it could bring like a whole new dynamic to Arena that keeps it interesting, even if they just allow people to change their racials when they queue.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Not gonna lie. Yeah, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, because you're playing around like, oh well, he popped his trinket, or I don't know. What else does he have? Like, who knows?
Yeah, I honestly think that probably the fairest thing to do is just to not have racials in arena, but like it is just kind of funny that I think that probably was probably the best thing to do at the start of TBC also, but like it sucks that now I'm going to reap benefits, but they're changing it. But honestly, I really don't enjoy having to parse through not only everybody's moves and knowing what to do against a rogue, but then knowing, oh shit, I got it. This is different for this rogue. This is different for, like it would definitely make arena a little bit more user friendly for the non-elite PvP players, which I would
think
welcome.
The people that do enjoy it though would find it refreshing because like let's be honest, like this is really only something that's going to affect the top 10% of the players in arena, right? A racial ability, whether how broken or not it is not going to be the game-winning factor for somebody that's 1200 rated, right? It's going to be a game-winning factor for like the high echelon players that are non-stop arena players. They log in every day in the arena for 4 or 5 hours. People like you see what's his name? I'm mind farting it.
Give me a class or something.
Like you got Josito Jones, right?
Okay.
Josito, that would affect pretty hard. But I think he might find it refreshing, right? Because they get so bored with like they have it down to like it's a flow chart, right? If you're a high-end player, it's okay, this is the combo we're against. Here's what we do. Here's what they do. If they do this first, we lose, or if I do this and it gets resisted, we lose, and that's just kind of the matchup. But I feel like if you could add a little bit of, spice into that by not knowing what the racials people are, I think it'd be good. You never know.
Well, and then on top of that, one really good change, in my opinion, that happens in Wrath is everything changes from chance to resist to duration decreased. So you don't have these like 5 bubble kidney shots being resisted. You just know that a priest is going to get out of it 15%, faster than other characters if they take those talents. So it makes it definitely lowers the RNG factor in our arena, whereas now like resist can really just, change an entire game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't arena at all. Like the most arena I plan to do in Wrath is I'm gonna queue with 5 elemental shamans and just lava burst one person into death. And that's gonna be that'll be my meme compilation for Wrath. It'll be
nice.
Yeah.
I look forward to in season 1 doing like double rogue and doing combat and just trying to killing spree immediately the first target, and then if that doesn't work, rinse repeat. Like I look forward and it'll only be a thing really in season 1 with low resilience, but it should be a good time in PvE gear.
Killing spree is by far my favorite ability in the entire game.
Oh, I love it.
In all of Warcraft, every expansion, any of it. Killing spree is number 1 for me. It's such a cool ability.
It's so fun.
You teleport around. You're like a ninja.
I know. And then if it's just a single target, you're like...
Dude, it's so cool.
Yep. All right. Well, Hamster, what have you been doing? I know you do a lot of different things and a lot of different other servers and stuff like that.
I'm gonna join Winky's team here. I also recently moved. Or not actually. He hasn't moved yet, but I recently moved, so I'm also dealing with all of the hassle that comes with getting a new house and all the paperwork and everything. And even after you move, you think, okay, we're done, and then you still, a lamp here and a thing there and a thing that. It's just endless. But that's also why I've kind of taken a break from content creation, but I'm back now. So what I've been doing lately, while I still not playing Classic, I'm still not subscribed to Blizzard, so I'm still hanging around on private servers. I've been playing on a Mist of Pandaria private server of all WoW expansions.
Interesting.
It's Mist of Pandaria. Trust me, the whole Oriental theme, I just don't care for it that much. I really don't care about pandas. I think they look ridiculous. Like male Pandaren rogue, how the hell does that work? It just looks so stupid. But if you look past that, if you look past the fat pandas, it's actually not that bad of an expansion. I really like how classes play in that expansion, and how to kind of like refine some of the meme specs, if you will. I mean, I've played a lot of TBC, and I've played a lot of Wrath too. And like, for instance, like Balanced Druid in Wrath is super fun, but it's super RNG based with Eclipse. And you can see that they kind of, altered a little bit, so it's a little bit more streamlined, if you will, in later expansions. And also, just the gearing up process is really fun. And it's a server by a team called Tari. Basically, just to give you a quick rundown, Tari has a Mr. Benayer server, and people always joke around how private servers are kind of laughable, but that private server is, I'd say, 99% almost like Blizz-like. It's insane, like how well scripted it is. So that's one team, if you will, that I always took very seriously. And they not too long ago announced a new Mr. Benayer server, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna check it out. I'm really curious to see how the quality is. And we're now 4 months later, and I'm still playing on it. And I didn't expect to enjoy it as much, but I do. So I'm just casually doing dungeons there, and doing some world bosses and everything. It's actually quite fun. So that's mostly what's been going on with me. And just real life stuff as well. So that's the quick rundown.
Nice. Mel, what about you?
Yeah, I've been raiding. Well, no, actually, I haven't been raiding. I didn't raid this week. I went out of town for work, and my connection is always a little, it's really up in the air whether it's going to be good or not. And with progression, it was probably not the best time. So I watched people raid, and then I did help out with what did we do yesterday, Bob? BT, a Black Temple run?
Yeah, we did a Black Temple off night run.
Yeah, I got my healing mace though. That was nice.
Yeah, that was huge.
I was really, really reluctant to go because I just don't like to raid on off nights. But
and not only did you get that mace, but our rogue Casimo got his main hand glaive.
Yes,
making Varg Floggin 3 sets of glaives strong. 1 warrior, 2 rogues. 3 sets.
That's incredible.
Dude, when Jordy came on a few weeks ago, Fusion runs 6 raids, and he was just cussing us out because like they had 4 total between all 6 raids.
Wow.
Gee, that's rough.
And
that's
we have
really rough.
1 raid, and we have 3 sets. It's unbelievable. Like, it's so nice. And speaking of that, on that run, I had already done a GDKP with my lock, so I got to come on my warrior, and my warrior got 2 piece of tier 6, and then also got the freaking main hand mace off of what's his name, the volcano dude, the big old guy,
Supremus.
Yeah, Supremus. And so I got that, so now I'm rocking that, and then the dragon strike in the offhand. And I'm getting the PvE gear. Like, my warrior's about ready to pump. Like, so I'm pretty I'm pretty excited about that. I was like full bis PvE, but now I'm getting like quite a few PvE pieces, which is really cool because playing the warrior is so much fun. I've been stuck in locked jail.
Going through those fights on a melee as opposed to his warlock, and he's like, wait, what? This is like you're like running around, like it's funny.
Yeah,
I get like short circuited in my head when I hear people say that warrior is fun. I can play any class in the game. I cannot stand I just cannot touch warrior. And maybe it's because I haven't unlocked the mentality that people have for what makes it fun.
It takes time.
Even in Classic WoW, people were like, "Oh, it's the Lamborghini class. It's the prime. Get on the warrior, and you'll never play another class." And man, I made one, dude. I hated it.
Well, until you get like geared, I mean, it's very gear dependent, and if you don't get the world buffs, like, I mean, your rotation completely changes with buffs. Your heroic striking on cooldown. Without buffs, your heroic strike canceling on cooldown for the for sure offhand hit. But if you're world buffed, your energy or your rage is just through the roof, so you could just actually heroic strike on CD every time. Like, so it's definitely the more gear you get, the more fun warrior gets. But it definitely, boy, working up a warrior in vanilla is just not fun. Ooh, it's such a pain in the ass.
The rite of passage.
Yep.
Yeah, it was terrible. Playing one on hardcore, I was like, I'm just gonna casually I'm gonna lag out in DC and just end up at the bottom of the ocean real fast. Like, I hate this so much.
Yeah, I've been doing all kinds of weird stuff. I've been doing a bunch of PvP arenas. I've been doing BGs too. We got like the big old resilience trinket, the PvP trinket. I got the big upgrade on both guys. Been having a good time doing that. I've been doing stuff like trying to get old school rep so I could get all of the mounts when Wrath comes out, so I can get like Ironforge, Gnomerigan, like all like Darnassus and Exodar, all of those different mounts to go on achievements. So I've been doing a ton of that stuff. And then raiding, Varg did really good this week. They flew through the first 4 bosses in 2 hours the first night, and then had an hour of Muru progression. Then we came back Thursday and we did 3 hours of progression, about 21 wipes. I don't know how many wipes there was on the first day, but about 21 wipes. But on our last poll, we did get it to phase 2. It's just been a big learning process. We have a plan for next week to have 2 different melee groups at the 2 different doors. Everybody's calling it a dad strat, but it's like we're just not getting enough DPS on Muru after the ads start to come out, and so the locks have been getting way better at enslaving the Void Walker dudes. We're learning the proper places to put that Void Walker and stay so that they don't die, and don't take aggro and stuff, because that's a big thing. Where if they die, then you're just slowed down trying to get another one enslaved, and there's just a whole lot of different priority on that boss. But I think we have it. I think we have it enough down to like get it done. We're also doing some changes with the Holy Priests this next week. We're gonna have them suggested by Sarth, but I don't know where the GM saw it. But either way, we're gonna have the Holy Priest take the talent that does less threat. We're also going to give them the subtlety enchant on their cloak, because they're taking quite a bit of aggro late in the fight doing circle. So we're hoping that'll help too.
It's a lot of timing, right? So you have to time to send your paramending out right before an ad spawns so that healer threat gets moved to the tank. You can't do a circle of healing before the tank has the mob, and so there's a lot of timing, I think, that will impact that as well. But yeah, our Shadow Priest gets to get improved fort and keep that up on everybody, and I will not buy any more candles, and it'll be great and wonderful. Except for it's going to drive me nuts, because I'm going to be able to tell when people don't have their buffs, and I'm not going to be able to buff it, and that's just going to really eat me up inside. So I'm got to like turn that off on my interface or something, because it'll kill me.
Yeah, Lockstock in chat asked if we're running seven healers. We definitely were. Changes we're making next week is we were running 2 resto druids. Now that one of the restos is going to go back to Boomkin, which he was before, and we were struggling for healers, so he was going to be heal, but we're going to have a Holy Priest, I believe, in that spot, and a Boomy now, so that might actually like help us quite a bit, because I don't think his gear was also up to par healing wise, because he had been getting damage gear for the last, whole phase. So I think that might help, but I think Muru goes down for us next week, and I think we're doing good on progress because from what I hear, a lot of the top guilds took 30-40 wipes on the PTR to get Muru down. So I don't feel bad about it at all. I think we're actually doing a good job.
And I wasn't there, so of course you weren't going to down it.
Definitely.
Major handicap.
Yeah, right?
Winky, have you done any Sunwell Plateau at all? You said you quit one of your guilds.
Yeah, so I've done, before I stepped away from my guild on ATS, which was the guild I've been in since Classic launch. I was with the same guild until recently. I was progging with them. We got to Muru, and then that was the week that I'd, got a phone call that said, "Hey, you're getting this house. You need to prioritize some things." So I've been signing a lot of paperwork doing that, but I'm still raiding with Bang on Benediction. I'm not I guess I wouldn't say I'm a quote unquote core raider, but they have 3 or 4 different raids that do Sunwell every week. So I jump in with whatever one needs me. Just because, everyone seems to need an Affliction Warlock because not a lot of people are playing an Affliction Warlock right now. Everyone wants to go for the big pump damage and, Destro it up. But I figured, I'll go Affliction. It was my alt Warlock anyway, so now it's my main Warlock, and it's like the blessed Warlock with loot. I swear, my main it took so long to get even close to 4-piece, and my alt Warlock's already just chilling. I think I have less than 3 days played on that character as a whole, and it's 4-piece. I've got the Hex Shrunken Head. I've literally just GG looted, Tempest. It's crazy. So yeah, I mean, I've gone on, I don't think I've seen Muru killed yet, just because I go on whatever nights they need me, but just about every week they've got 3 raids that full clear, so I'm excited to just get in and get a KJ kill eventually here. But it's not that big on my priority list, I don't really mind. I'm actually more upset that I'm missing the progression with my quote unquote dad guild, because that's what I find more fun than just going in when something's on farm and hoping an item drops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely been fun for our guild.
Been really fun.
Just to actually progress again, and not.
And
yeah, it sucks because right when we hit a wall, I had to step away, and I was like, "Dang!" I was excited to wipe for 100 times, and get that excitement when you down something. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, I'll get in and get a few kills done. I've been told I'm going to be a core raider next week just because they need me. So who knows? Maybe I'll see it next week.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, I really enjoy the talking and back and forth and be like, well, hey, this does this. Maybe we should do this, or do you think I should be doing this differently?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's really neat, and something you just don't get we haven't gotten a whole ton except for back with KT and Vash, and you're looking for different things, and you're really studying what you can do differently to just get that extra edge. But yeah, I think also the gear there is so much better than everything else currently in TBC, and so it's just the more you get of that, the easier it's going to get each week. But yeah, it wasn't super high on my priority list, but I'm glad I'm doing it because the progression part is really fun. I went into it initially with a bad I don't know, a bad mentality, and felt really bad the first night we played, and I shouldn't have. I was going in with wrong expectations, and I kind of reset my own self, and I'm feeling good about it now. It feels really good.
Yeah, it's fun. You even get people that get upset on wipe 15 or 20 of the night, and they start calling each other out you don't even use your flask. If you flasked, we would have killed this boss 3 pulls ago. It's just that's all good stories. It's team building in a way for a guild to go through that stuff.
We have a guy who
we
posts.
have Kim.
Yeah.
Kim is our guild bank savant, and he he provides all the consumes to all of the raid, right? So then after raid, he'll always post like a, consumes used, and he's like seriously, like, you don't buying them, like, use them and stop not.
That's crazy. You know what? You know how much of an exception that is in the world of Warcraft? You've got one person providing the entire guild with consumables.
Yeah, it's nutty.
It's nutty.
He's
It's
a wonderful,
insane.
wonderful person.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. I've actually talked to him before. Like, dude, I don't know how long you can keep this out. Don't burn out, man. Like,
Is he like buying them or is he making them all himself? Like, does he have like an army of alts that just like crafts everything?
Some people in the guild help, but he's just
Mhm.
like, I mean, when we do our arenas together, he's crafting the entire time while we're
my
like
God.
in the like we join the game and he's still crafting while we're waiting that one minute to like go in.
Jesus. That's dedication.
Like, uptime. Yeah, uptime.
Well, and he knows
flips
how
stuff.
to. Yeah, he knows how to play the auction house, right? So he always buys mats when they're, at their low point, or resets the auction house. He does things. It's hilarious because he'll offer like TSM tips and tricks, little like webinars on the Discord, and if he didn't do it all, I might need to know those tips and tricks. I'm probably gonna regret it if he stops. If he stops doing it.
I think depending on where this classic era thing goes after Wrath, depending on, if we go back into classic WoW again and it's just like all right, fresh, everyone's fresh, let's go, do it again. I might try and like actually learn how to play the auction house, because I've been playing for like 20 years and have no clue how to make money on the auction house. 'Cause there's people they got like 5 characters gold capped in classic because they're just so good at buying low and selling high, and like, man, I want to try that.
Yeah,
Then you gotta like really put in the effort and check the auction house every day so you can see, okay, this is high, this is low, and then I tried it before too. I can't be bothered to check the auction house every day, and then maybe make an Excel sheet. Okay, this primal air is like low is 10 gold, high is 30. So no thanks.
Yeah.
Well, like TSM, I mean, does a really good job. Like I learned basics, like, but have made a ton of. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to consume at the end there in Nax in vanilla if I hadn't learned from Kim how to flip different things. And I'd made a lot of different money, different ways. But yeah, now I'm making a lot of money on GDKPs. Like, that's where I'm really making money. And I did a bunch of those this last week too. So got to get ready for Wrath. There's going to be a lot of stuff right off the bat that I want to buy. I want to buy that ring. I want to buy cold weather flying dual spec on 2 different characters. I want to buy the Choppa.
Like the flow chart, right? Hit 70, go get your starter gear and a couple soft reserves, and then jump into GDKPs and just make a bunch of money.
Yep. I mean, and with alts, like, you could really make quite a bit, and especially now that we're mainly doing Sunwell progression, like, I could go into SSC and TKs and they don't expect me to buy anything. They just expect me to be number 1 or 2 on the overall damage once the raid's over, which I've been doing in these GDKPs. So
yeah, you just play Warlock and see corruption,
money.
and you're instantly number 1 for overall raid damage.
Yep. It's been
I just sit back and let Bob make all the money and then put it on my account.
I'm not gonna lie, this might be TOS, but I just buy gold 100%. I just swipe the card, man.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, I can't be bothered. I mean, I've raided with. I say this a lot because people think it's what you do. What, dude? Come on. It's the expectation of the game at this point, and it's sad to say it. I was against it for the longest time, but if you can't beat them, join them, because the bots are not getting banned. Blizzard is dropping the ball left and right, and it's an economy that is screwed. And so if I don't have time to do 3 GDKPs that week, I'll buy 2,000 gold. It's $7. I'll go get a Starbucks coffee and it's 2,000 gold.
Yeah, it's
nice.
But see, for me, if the WoW token came out, I'd buy it definitely.
Heck
but
yeah.
I'm just scared to death of losing my characters, and we've had we've had people in the guild that have been definitely banned for like 7 days and longer for buying gold. They take away their flying mounts and all this stuff, and I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways around it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny that Blizzard bans the buyers, but they don't ban the bots.
Well, dude, I'm pretty sure. So, the tinfoil hat, but I'm pretty sure that the big GDKP guys basically
Laundering money.
Well, basically, okay, so they're just putting people, like, they've got all this gold. They can put people on credit. So somebody could say, hey, dude, I'm going to give you, $50 for this amount of gold. So then they bid. They don't ever even give the GDKP owner gold. There's no history of that transaction. He just gives them an item. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's where I think
100%.
that's got to be like what's going on, because like
they're in their whispers. They'll whisper and be like, "Yo, $50."
Because
and it's okay. Here's my
'cause
Venmo.
From what I hear, to buy 50K gold sets off major alarms on the back end. But if somebody who's already got the 50K gold just doesn't ever trade that to you, just puts it in the pot of the GDKP, and then you get, like, it's a really easy way to hide the money.
It's all money. You think people are buying stuff for 400,000 gold? No.
Yeah.
And if they didn't get that gold, via buying it or GDKPs from other people who bought the gold, it's all botted, terrible economy gold. I mean, you sell something on the auction house, you're getting mail. That mail came from a bot, right? That gold that person spent came from a bot. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
I got the Sunwell Plateau sword by farming Peace Bloom outside of Bloom.
Right?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, dude. Sure.
Yeah, and you can see it. It's why. But if you ever feel bad about it, because this is how I kind of justify it to myself as an anti-gold buyer for the longest time. I raided with people that worked for Blizzard on the Classic WoW team. They bought gold.
Damn.
Well, something I heard on Countdown to Classic, Josh had someone on from Calamity, and he made a really good point about possibly why China is so far ahead of everybody on, world first and speed runs. Tokens. I didn't even think about that. They can buy the tokens, no fear of getting banned, and then they can go and just split all of their people into DKPs and just have like BIS everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, World of Warcraft has been pay to win for a very long time. And that's what I liked about private servers, because a lot of private servers do an incredible job at banning bots. They ban gold buyers.
Yeah.
They'll ban you if you whisper someone and say, "How do I buy gold?" So you're banned. You're out, right? And it's like, how can a private server do that and enforce it with such good ways of doing it? And there's people that still get away with it, but it's very, very seldom. And then you've got Blizzard, AAA company, Activision backing it, can't control the market. Come on. It's wild to me.
Yeah, but a gold buyer or a gold farmer on Blizzard is $15 a month for them, and a gold buyer on private servers gives the private server team nothing. So,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's my little tinfoil hat. I don't know exactly when I don't ban it. Lack of resources, lack of people, or maybe they're just like, hey man, 1,000 bots, that's 15,000 a month. Let it ride. Keep it going.
It's also numbers to report on quarterly reports too.
That's true.
Active subscribers. Yeah. Well,
there's a YouTube video on that I watched. It was like they did the math, and it was like the money that they make. So Blizzard will like make money from these bot accounts. They'll make the account, they'll boost a character, they'll start farming, and then they'll allow that account like X amount of time before they ban it. So that way they get the gold seller makes profit versus how much they spent to get the character up and running.
I've heard that.
They sell the gold for profit, and then they catch the ban, and then Blizzard makes the profit by them making a new account because it's still profitable for them to make a new account and go through the process again.
Yeah, especially with being able to just buy a boost too, that gives them even more. I'm sure they made a fortune on TBC boosts, even though it was one per account. Like, Should they
Of
made?
course, yeah.
I mean, look
should
at
they
Grace
made
for
a good-
days. He just made 6 accounts and boosted 6 characters.
Yeah, I boosted one
Damn.
on each account.
Yeah.
I regret one, the Pally, because I never played him. He's just sitting still at level 60. I planned to farm with him and never did. But the Rogue I boosted, and that felt good because I'd played so much Rogue over my original time. So it was just like putting on an old glove and just remembering. But the Paladin, I was like so lost and just like, I'm not gonna mess with reading every talent, everything. Like, so,
Paladin's really fun. I'm not gonna lie. TBC's a great time to play Paladin.
yeah,
Yeah.
I should have. I could have just worked up, just taking dungeons, like
Mhm.
whenever
You
I
can
had
charge.
rest.
People will pay you to tank dungeons at 70.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
you'll be like, hey, I want all the large brilliants and 50 gold, and people will be like, yeah, come take my
I
heroic,
know. I
you know?
hate that
Nice.
that behavior now, though. Oh, I hate it. It's horrible. All greens and blues unneeded reserved is like the meta
Mhm.
right now, and that's so just gross. But I mean, it'll get better in Wrath. There'll be more tanks. Dual spec
Yeah.
along with a whole nother tank class is going to help the tank shortage, at least for dungeons. So
Yeah, and if you're in a guild and you're a pretty close knit guild, you can always get, if you guys want to chain run heroics, you just get the guildies together and have a good time. That's way more fun than pugging it anyway.
Oh yeah.
all right, well, I got to get us moved on to the news. So let's time for the news. All right, so there isn't much news, but this first one's a little juicy. They have blocked transfers and disabled character creation on Firemaw. Now, if you had a character on Firemaw, you could still make a new character, but if you did not have a character, you cannot make a character there now. It's locked. Firemaw is having problems. I've had different listers write in showing it's about a 2-hour queue during prime time, which, is a pain in the butt. Do you think they have any chance of fixing this? Because it's going to get worse when Wrath hits.
I think it fixes itself with the queue usually, right? Like the queue, I feel like gets people to say, okay, we need to go somewhere else. And
But if there's not a
nobody's gonna
good somewhere
go with it.
else,
I think that's the issue, is that there's nowhere else that's good yet. No, the community hasn't picked the second best EU server to join.
and they're still
telling
sitting at
you, I
around
talked about it last
50-50. So like,
But yeah, what they really need on Firemaw, to be honest, is they need like all the Horde to leave or all the Alliance to leave. I hate to say it, but that would lower the population enough to where
yeah, but
it
then
would be
you lose
2 good servers,
But you
right?
lose the coolness of having open world and everything else. Like,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
Grobulus is doing it the best right now. It's
Yeah.
still about 50-50, and it's about 9,000 on each side.
I'm gonna open Ironforge Shop Pro real quick.
Yeah, but Firemaw is still pretty even. Mel had a great idea that Duranosaur loved last week, which was to set up a batch and be like, "Hey, I am willing to move to this server if we get at least 5,000 Horde and 5,000 Alliance queued." And then as soon as it hits the queue, it moves everybody, and then boom, you have a 5K server. Like,
Yeah, that's a really good. The problem with that, I think, is that people can't plan around it because they don't know when it's gonna happen. Like they're just gonna wake up one day, they'll be on a different server.
yeah. I mean,
But we
a lot of
really
people,
need a plan.
They like to like hoard items in their bank and sell off some items that sell for high, and then you've got your raid nights you scheduled. Not everyone might want to move at once in the guild. It could be something you have to plan out.
yeah, what's the pop on Firemaw at the moment?
Firemaw active raiders, there's 29,377, which is funny because that's a smaller server than Benediction
Well, then
in
they've
terms of
actually
raiding population.
Yeah, they've actually gotten down. Well, what they said in the news last week is that Firemaw is the biggest active players server. in all of World of Warcraft, like classic and retail. So it's just people logged on simultaneously, whereas Benediction is like the 24th most active server with active players on it. So like,
yeah, I think
the
it
total
goes for the Ironforge statistics are based off of active raiders.
Yeah, so they could
'Cause
be
it
raid
pulls
loggers,
from
you
that.
know,
They could be raid loggers. They could be bots. You know, they could be all kinds of crazy things that are going on. There could be people that are, you know, leveling one of everything. They don't care about raiding. Plus, I think Ironforge.pro might have lower population statistics than it did just a month ago.
Well, yeah, if you look
Just
at
because
it,
of Sunwell, people might not be raiding as much. A lot of guilds are falling apart because of Muru.
could
sadly.
be true. Well, and if you look at it for the last 4 weeks, or for the last 4, I don't know if they go by each week. I don't know if it's 2 weeks or whatever. It looks like 2 weeks each data collection. But so for the last 2 months, Firemaw has gotten less and less active raiders, but it could be just what you're talking about. People are still playing, they're just not raiding. So they either are getting smaller or people are just raiding less, but the server's still big. I'm not
They
real
have
sure.
free transfers off Firemaw, yeah, or is that
Yeah.
not in yet?
Yeah, they
They do?
added that. That was in the news last week.
Okay, so yeah, there could be a bunch of people transferring off. I don't know where they would go. Let me look sport. I guess Venoxus has a decent raider population. I'm looking for
That's
EU only.
yeah, that's EU German
Gehenna.
though.
Yeah, it looks like it's either Pyrewood Village or Gehenna. So maybe some Alliance players from Firemaw are going to Pyrewood and some Horde players are going to Gehenna.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
It's
know.
it's interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a tough problem. Like they had, like I've talked about it many times, they had a chance when the servers were dying. They should have locked servers at that time. It would have filled up other servers because people didn't want to stay on a dying server. So,
Yeah.
but now that they're
Yeah, we
on the
were-
best server, why do they want to leave?
We were discussing this earlier last week with Grace for Days and Abide. And I think we came to the conclusion of something along the lines of like, it's too far gone, man. Blizzard, they had the opportunity to fix it a long time ago. They're managing their company in a very reactive way, not a proactive way.
Exactly.
And that's a huge problem because it's just, you know, this is too far gone. Like the server problem is too far gone.
Back in the day, they wouldn't let you transfer to those high pop servers. Like it was
Yep.
just wasn't an option. And
Exactly.
there were people watching it constantly. And I mean, I feel like you could have an intern watching that, you know, and be like, oh, we hit the cap. Like now I'll go ahead and
Yep.
flip the switch off. Like I just don't get it. I do
There is
understand, like
something to
maybe
be learned though. You like if you're listening to this and you're planning on playing on Benediction and you're not there, maybe your guild's thinking about transferring. You better do it now, or at least make a level 1 character on Benediction because that's the next server that they're gonna lock.
And do you really want to do that? Because leveling in Wrath, man, is going to be hell on Benediction if you want a quest.
That's true.
Yeah, it's
So
gonna suck.
yeah, I don't know,
I mean,
like
it's layered to all hell, but it'll still be pretty rough.
yeah, and
even the Sunwell Island was terrible on Benediction.
oh, it was horrible. Like that first few days, I mean, the lag was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, I don't like, yeah, later on in the game, being on a huge server is great because you still can get, you know, pug groups for dungeons that are lower because everybody's working up alts, things of that nature. But early on, it kind of sucks to be on a high pop server. I mean, just remember when Classic first launched and you're waiting in line in the starting zone to get the named mob tag, you know, for each quest.
Yeah, you'll plan to make a lot of friends and get in a lot of groups to get anything done,
Right.
which I think that'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And with the removal
We'll
of the
see.
dungeon finder too, it'll be a lot of people plaguing the world with their presence.
All right. Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that continues and what happens and who actually does move off. But the 2-hour queue, you know, and once a queue starts, the queue gets bigger and bigger because you have people that'll go ahead, remote desktop into their home computer and just log in every 25 minutes. You just come in, Alt F4, log in to a different character, and you can like just set a timer, 25 minutes, and you're not going to get kicked. So
that auto hotkey jumping in place.
Well, they actually put something in Classic to like stop that. There's like a thing that if you like, you know, you could put yourself on a flight path and not get kicked, but like it would finally kick you. But like we found out that just like it's never gonna kick you in a 25-minute time frame. So you just Alt F4, log into a new character, and boom,
okay.
you just like can just set your clock to it, and yeah, so the queue gets higher and higher as soon as a queue starts. So it's definitely a bad thing, but let's have to see what they do. This other part, so Wowhead put in like the top 10 things to do before Lich King. This is what Wiki said he wasn't doing.
All right, let's see.
But I thought I'd read some of them off. Stop me if you want to talk about any of them as I read them off. So the first one is earn Burning Crusade attunements and titles like Hand of Adal and Champion of the Naru. Supposedly,
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
yes, these were taken out originally, but people are talking about possibly Blizzard might just leave them in so you can still do them later. But originally they were taken out. So this is one that you might want to do if you want titles, you know, and you want the achievements linked to those titles. The Zolaman Amani Warbear is supposed to go bye-bye. That's another one, though.
Well, it's a good thing every single person has it.
I know, everybody.
Yeah, if not, go join a ZA GDKP and get it for 2 gold.
Right?
Yeah, it's literally everybody rides this mount. It's not even that cool, but if you're an achievement hunter, it's an extra mount on top of that. So
it can't fit through doors.
dude,
I know.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing. You can't go into you can't run straight in and get dismounted. It just doesn't fit.
See, my favorite mount at the moment, on both my, or on my warrior, is the ram, and it's too tall to fit through doors. So I can't do that whole, you run halfway into the building before it demounts you. I just have to demount before I walk in, but it's so
Hamsterwheel's laughing in Horde right now. He's like, dude, none of our mounts have ever let us run the doors. Like, what are you talking about?
I have played Tarn for the most, so I, you know, Jesus, it's rough. There was even time, I'm not sure if this was a bug, but I had played a Mill Tarn Druid, and there was times when I picked up the Berserker buff. This is like way back in like retail vanilla, and I picked up a little Berserker buff inside the house at farm. And I could not exit the house unless I clicked off the Berserker buff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, that's
I'm not sure
hilarious.
If this was like pretty early vanilla, so maybe this was like a bug or something and Blizzard fixed it later, but I remember this very vividly that I could not exit the house until I actually clicked off the Berserker buff. So
oh my god.
Yeah, I've been living with that for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. It's possible they'll leave it in, but you know, it's a better idea to just grab it now.
There's some funny size things, tangent. I saw a hardcore death, like a very unique hardcore death. Somebody got sheeped in a house.
Oh.
Right? And they have those fireplaces on the Alliance where it's like the chimney with the fireplace. They got sheeped in a house for like the Duskwood quest, Legend of Stalvon. And they auto walked as a sheep into the fireplace. And then the damage from the fire broke the sheep and they were stuck in the fireplace.
And you can't hearth because you take damage.
And they couldn't hearth because they were taking ticks of damage. And they slowly burnt to death for like 2 damage at a time for over 15 minutes. It was some of the most incredible. Man. And they were in guild chat like, someone come duel me and sheep me and hopefully I can walk out of here. Oh, it was such a funny death.
Oh
Quick, let
my
me
god.
check. Let me call a GM. Oh wait, no,
Yeah.
never mind. That doesn't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what's a
Oh.
GM? Never seen those before.
Exactly.
And in hardcore, you're not allowed to use the Blizzard out of game unstuck option
Yeah, you're not allowed to use
because
it.
that
it
would
technically
definitely
kills
get
your
you out.
character.
Yeah.
Yep.
But what he could have done is Alt F forward. It would have logged him out
They did.
after.
They did.
Well, it should have
They did
logged him
Alt
out
F4.
after a minute, and then he could have come in and hearthed an hour later.
He came. He logged out and came in, and you can't hearth because you're taking damage takes.
It should. I mean, the knockback. You should still be able to hearth.
It didn't work. I'll find the clip. I'll send it to you after the show. It's
Oh,
it's an
does it-
amazing.
I'm really
clip.
curious.
Does it
I gotta
cancel
see
the
it.
Yeah.
hearth each time? It doesn't do knockback. Interesting.
Yeah. I'll put the clip in the chat after this. It's an
That's miserable.
incredible death clip.
Oh man. Ooh, that's
What
so.
level?
That hurts so bad.
I think it was like low 20s because they were doing the Duskwood quest, but it's
Oh, yeah.
hilarious.
I mean, that
It's
makes it a
wild.
little bit
Well,
better. It's
and
not
then
like he was
just-
like
Yeah.
55.
just
right?
like
Yeah.
I mean, gnome's height. Like trying to do the second boss in Dire Maul jump runs. Like as my gnome just keeps swimming in that freaking pool. Like
Mhm.
and it messes me up jumping back and forth off the platform, whereas every other character, and then you
Those
also
are
had a
gnomes.
death where somebody was a gnome, level 60, hardcore, in hardcore elite, they went to make their mooncloth.
Oh, they
jumped-
drowned in the moon
They
well.
jumped
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
moon well in
No.
Darnassus,
Yeah.
started making the mooncloth, then he went AFK, and he's
Yep.
drowning the whole time because he's a gnome. And he comes back dead, drowned, and you see his arm like just like off,
Oh, that
like
was
just
good.
right off camera, just like stuck. And he's like,
Yep.
"What happened?"
That was the gnome tribute of the to the priestess of Loon.
Oh my
I
god.
had to do it.
So what have we learned, kids? Don't play a gnome. Just
Don't play a gnome. It also messes you up when you're soloing Mara, like princess solos as a warlock. You kite in a big circle, and there's like one patch of water that you have to swim through if you're a gnome.
oh, of
And
course.
it slows you down.
Well, then I was doing when we got Shammies on the Alliance side. I was working up in Ungoro with a Draenei, and they have the big old elephant, and they're just able to walk through the water. And I had to like jump over each thing, and if I messed it up, like I'd get dismounted. But they just walk through because the mount's so tall. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff like that. Oh, but okay, so the next one is acquire items from level 60 Naxxramas. Like if you want the corrupted Ashbringer, Hungering Cold, the Atiesh Great Staff of the Guardian, like all of these different things go bye-bye as soon as Wrath comes out.
But I
I'm
guess
not
just
sure
for
why would
bragging
you.
rights.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Sorry,
I don't
go
know
ahead.
why you would need them.
Yeah, it's just bragging rights. If you got the
Yeah.
ATS, you could, go to Karazhan anytime you wanted, I guess. For shits and
Maybe
giggles.
Wowhead, maybe this is a big brain moment. Maybe Wowhead already knows we're going to Cataclysm and thus Transmog will be there. So they're like, hey, better get that
Yeah.
next gear.
That's true.
Well,
Well, again,
I'm not gonna lie.
next
I've saved
year-
all my tier sets from vanilla just because I hope one day we get transmog put into it.
Well, the corrupted Ashbringer is kind of just a neat weapon. Like you can put it on and go into like I haven't seen
Scarlet
this, but
Monastery.
yeah, you go to
Yeah.
Scarlet Monastery and everything's friendly. Like it's
There's a
definitely
whole
a
RP event,
weird.
isn't there? Like they all kneel for you, and you can like walk up. stick your
Exactly.
I've
quiver on
heard
them.
that. I haven't seen it though.
It's pretty cool. They respond to like emotes too. Like if you walk up to them and do like slash like salute and stuff, they like talk to you.
I feel like this is like playing the real long game here, right? Like you gotta
Yeah.
really,
I
really dedicate
should've-
yourself to want to do things like this.
I should have rolled on the Ash. I could have gotten it twice, but I didn't want to spend the DKP for it. I should have. Okay, and we're back after our mid-show power outage. It was yesterday. We recorded the first half of the show and lost power middle of the show. And yeah, so power was out for a long time, so we ended up rescheduling to today. So we're gonna do the rest of the show now. Where were we at? We were at like the 10 things to do.
Yeah, we were going through the 10 things to do.
Yeah, that to prepare for that you should do before Wrath comes out, like collect mounts that you can obtain tier 3 gear, stuff like that.
Yep. I think we just passed get your items from Naxxramas, and then the next is prepare professions. I mean, that's kind of a duh. And profession materials.
Wow, really?
Yep, that one's pretty easy. Prepare bind on equip items for Death Knight characters. This could be something to do before pre-patch, because you're gonna get Death Knights in pre-patch. So,
but isn't like the blue gear that you get from the leveling zone pretty darn good? Like, what BOEs would you save? Like what?
Stuff like that's like, I don't know, stuff that's maybe like level 80 stuff, because there's a lot of like epic BOE stuff like now that is like level 80, which could be used to like level faster.
Level 70, you mean?
Level 70. Sorry.
I was like, I don't think we have any level 80 gear quite yet.
Yeah, but like, the hard corium stuff, like that could be good for leveling to 80 once Wrath does come out. Oh, then there's the save gold, which, I mean, it's a duh, but like there is like, I had forgotten about these rings that are 8K a piece, the ones that have a 30-minute teleport to Dalaran. I mean, I've known about them for a couple months now, but I'd forgotten about them prior to hearing that, a bit ago. But like those are actually upgradable, I'm pretty sure, throughout Wrath too. Like there's ways to upgrade them each tier, and they're kind of like pre-bis each time. Do you see what I'm talking about? The Band of Kirin Tor, Signet of Kirin Tor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, those are good. They're 8K a pop. Although if you get Kirin Tor rep, I think you can get them down to as low as 6,200.
That's a lot of money.
I feel like those are, in my opinion, kind of useless. You just set your Hearthstone and dollar on and Ghetto Hearth.
Right.
We live in a new age of WoW.
I mean, considering how much gold people are buying, you're going to have enough to give a mage 20 gold to port them to Dalaran.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I
just find enough gold.
I just like that they're like pre-bis, and like you could you could upgrade them each phase.
I don't see anything about being to upgrade.
I don't see it here either, but I'm almost positive you can upgrade them throughout.
Yeah, you can, because if you go to a Wrath database, you can see there's different levels of item level, so you definitely can. I'm not sure if the pre-raid bis though, but I'm not the best into pre-raid bis, so don't take my word for it.
This is me just being a cynical Winky mode engaged. Do you think pre-bis actually matters with how easy Naxxramas is?
No,
probably not.
Like do you think people are actually? Yeah, do you think people are actually going to grind out pre-bis, or do you think they're just going to get their phase bis from Nax?
Do not underestimate people's parses and the bragging rights that come with it.
Yeah, but the early parses, like in the first few weeks, are going to be kind of disregarded anyway. Because it's like, oh, congrats, you were the first 10 guilds to do it. You got a 99 on everything, and then Warcraft logs, the god of Warcraft logs. I hate that website, to be honest, but they're going to be like, oh, we didn't account for X, Y, and Z. None of these runs have, at least parses don't count. Matter of fact, we're going to take all your 99s and make them 0. Because they do that every phase release. It's not like, PTR exists and they've had ample opportunities to get it running. It's whatever.
Yep.
It's fine. You're not bitter.
That's just cynical Winky mode. Okay, cynical Winky mode, disengaged.
I like cynical Winky mode.
Me too.
It's good topics. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. There's a mentality. I don't know. It's tough.
On the rings, though, still, like I think the 30-minute teleport could be nice. Just being able to have your hearth someplace else, like. Like it might be nice, but yeah, there's always ports, everything else. But either way, I'm looking to get them. And there's also, you got to think about cold weather flying, which is 1K each character, and then dual spec, which is 1K each character. Then there's also the mount.
The gold sellers are going to have a field day.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Do we know
they
the
definitely
estimated
are.
amount of gold you get from leveling 70 to 80 from just quests on
I
the
think
way
it's
up?
quite a bit.
It is quite a bit.
It's got to be like 4 or 5K, right?
I don't think 4 or 5K, but
Well, I know
I'm not
that
sure.
you get at least 3K if you quest from 60 to 70. And then you'd finish up a little bit of extra quests once you're 70.
I
Yeah.
feel like cold weather flying and dual spec on both my characters back in Wrath was super easy to do. Like,
Yeah, I don't ever remember it being an issue.
yeah,
Yeah.
It
but I don't
definitely won't be
remember.
now. I mean, just hit up your local GDKP buyer, and they'll loan you 5K gold. It's like a tenth of what they have.
There's also the mount that has the repair and vendors on it, but is that really necessary when everybody's going to be an engineer and repair bots are going to be everywhere?
Yeah, true.
Not only that, but nobody's leaving Doll, so you just go repair. You know?
Yeah, and then like every engineer is going to have their own mailbox that's on like an hour cooldown or whatever. Like,
I could see my guildies being hecka stingy though. Like they'd be like, yeah, I have repair bots, but I also have this mount outside for when we're running back into Old War. You know, like a repair here because I'm not dropping a bot.
dude,
Like,
whenever I
Fair.
drop a bot, I like drop it in stealth so I can buy the scrolls before somebody else gets them.
Oh.
you have to, yeah, because
Yeah.
people race for the scrolls.
And there's
And,
add-ons that
weak
just buy
auras,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's weak auras and stuff for it too.
I don't think the scrolls stack anymore in Wrath, though, do they?
I don't know. I'd be happy with that because that's like an extra cost. That's a pain in the ass for
Well,
melee.
I think Crix told me scrolls were still required of like a raid buff if you want to pump.
Okay. All right.
Maybe they
Yeah.
don't. Maybe they don't stack with other scrolls, but maybe they still stack with buffs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I got my experience from private servers, so don't take my word for it, but I wasn't
So
able to
did
stack
Craig.
like intellect with a scroll of intellect, but yeah.
We'll test it in the when the beta comes out. We'll all test the scrolls
Sure.
and make sure it works.
I think
Because if it doesn't, I'll be a happy man if it doesn't work.
well, I don't think intellect works right now in TBC if you have the mage buff. I
No,
think
it
the
doesn't.
reason
Yeah.
Neither does Spirit.
strength and agility work because you don't have a buff that's strength or
Yeah.
agi.
Yeah, and people put strength and agi on their fell guards and things like
Pets
that.
and
if they're
stuff too.
good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I even put it on my whenever I do like there's certain fights, every fight in Mount Hyjal and then Supremus in BT, I could use a what's it called? The fell the big thing, big green guy that comes from
Varg?
no
Oh.
Infernal?
Infernal.
yeah,
Infernal.
yeah. So you can like if you're a Destro lock, you sack your pet first and pull an infernal down, and you can use that during the fight. So I'll use Kibler's Bits and Scrolls on it, and brings your DPS up even more.
Yeah, there's a quest in Nagrand that I was doing on one of my alt. Well, might not have been in Nagrand, but I was doing a random quest on my alt, and it rewards you. Oh, it's in Zangermarsh. Gives you a choice of 5 of any scroll.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I grabbed
Yeah.
5 strength scrolls, and I was like, dang, that's a 60 gold quest reward.
Yep.
Like, oh, it felt great.
Yeah, those are like, and it's crazy because right now the cost of a bot, like if you just buy a repair bot, is less than you make just with the scrolls you buy. So like you could literally
Right.
just buy bots and make like 5 gold a pop, just dropping them over and over again if you really wanted to.
If anyone's a real grinder out there, can I plug RXP real quick? Because they just came out with something under the radar. Not a lot of people know about it.
Is it the gold
But it's
thing?
Yeah, it's the
Oh,
gold
it's
thing.
amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
It's awesome. So it's subscription based, right? So you have to pay like $5 a month or something, right? But it's on rxp.com. It's the same guys that made the leveling guide, Cargo's Tactics, Zarant, Seven Leaves, Tommy Salami, all the homies. And this guide was made primarily by Tactics. And he pulled me into a call and he was showing me how it works and all that. And I was like, there's no way. Because it's so in depth.
And it goes by your server and your market on the auction house.
Yeah,
It's amazing in real time.
It pulls the data from Nexus Hub in real time every hour from the auction house on your server. You log in. So basically, you tell the guide like, I am a level 70 human warlock with tier 5 gear. These are my professions. Yada yada yada. And based on what you select and your server economy, it tells you straight up like a tier list of the most profitable activities you could be doing on that character at that time.
Yep. With
So,
the
like,
professions you have, it's sick.
That's
yeah.
insane.
So for me, I was like, it said like, oh, you could go grind Primal Fires, right? And I was like, well, I don't feel like grinding, so I just toggled off like the grinding button, and it pulls up tailoring. And I was like, oh, well, I'm a tailor. And it said, if you make this item right now, you are guaranteed a minimum of 20 gold profit from the cost it took you to make it on the auction house to what you could sell it for.
Yep.
And I did not believe that this was going to work. So I did it. I made 10 of those items and I sold them on the auction house. I made 200 gold.
Dude, it's
Look at that.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
it's what I do with TSM,
Mhm.
but it takes the work out of it for you because I have to like log on each character, pull up TSM, look at the current profits that I can make on different items and stuff. But this, you just pull it up, like it's all in one there. All of your characters' profiles are saved there. You just look and see what's the best thing you could do right now, and it really streamlines the whole process. It's really cool.
Yeah. And it's going to get updated for Wrath, dude. And he showed me the Excel sheets that he has, like the brain of the operation. Like he pulled up
Oh,
like
God.
the back end of the website. Dude, it is insane. Like it looks like, you know, like that meme of like the clear guy with the brain, and there's just math like spinning around
Yeah.
him. That is exactly what it looks like. It's like it's like thousands of hours of work that
Oh, I'm
Tactics has
sure.
put into
I thought
this.
you were gonna say it looked like the Matrix Code, but
Yeah, basically. No, he spent like 6 months, like just
wow.
because he did every gold farm himself. He went on the PTR and like he
Jesus.
logged like how long does it on average does it take to kill something with these different item levels of like average gear, and it's insane.
Yep. And if you want, I think it was the last episode, no, episode before last of Prepared Podcast by Snowme. He had Tactics on, and they talked about a lot of this. So like
Mhm.
anybody listening should definitely check out that Snowme, friend of the show. It's a really good podcast, and Tactics just went through a bunch of the stuff. It was super cool. I actually thought about reaching out to him to come on the show, but I still just might before, Wrath
You
comes.
should. Yeah, absolutely. He's a great guy.
All right, and then the last thing, which is actually like a really good idea, and a lot of people, including me, did this for TBC launch, is just fill up your quest log with completed quests and complete them after Wrath launches. It just gives you a
Alright.
nice little bump.
Preferably the quests from like Shadow Moon Valley, right? Like the high, like level
The
70
high-end
plus
ones.
quests.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
If
I've
you haven't
heard,
done your attunements yet, like if you have that old attunement quest line, I bet you that's a lot of XP.
I bet it is too. And also I hear daily quests work good too. So the Isle of Quell Danas
Ooh.
could be a really good one to have all of those done.
Mm-hmm.
So
You know,
Yeah.
I bet you Northrend's going to be so packed on launch in leveling zones. You might behoove yourself from just doing like 70 to 72 in Outlands.
maybe,
Yeah.
You know, like because if you're like me and you boosted a 58 or whatever, and you're just having fun, and you sat in Shadow Labs for 5 levels, just paying some dude to mage AOE farm that crap down for you. Dude, I have like every quest in Outlands still available. Like I could probably just go blast them all out.
It's
no
probably
lag.
You know how
not-
much money you can make from those quests? in
yeah, see,
Outlands?
that's how I made the starter money to make money on the
Yeah.
auction house, was doing all those
but
quests at 70.
you're forgetting I'm a shameless card swiper, so it doesn't matter. Like, I could spend 2 hours doing quests, or I could spend 5 minutes at work.
Mm.
At
and
least
buy
you're,
that
at least you're
much
upfront about it.
Hey, I'm shameless, dude.
I like
I'm trying to
questing,
get
though.
GG to give me a promo code Winky. That's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the best way, like you said, because there are some neutral areas in the Howling Fjord and Borean Tundra, like with the Cairn Tour and everything, that is going to be so contested on PvP servers. It's going to be ridiculous. Like
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
our
that is
PvP
similar.
server is basically a PvE server, but it'll
Yeah.
still be contested.
Yeah,
Like
it'll
we-
just be contested with people you can't kill when they tag your mob.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there was like there's this private server called Warmain, which has a seasonal Wrath Lich King server. So every once in a while it goes fresh again, so people are once again leveling, and it has a lot of people playing on it. So you can kind of see how much of a mayhem it is. And I did one season of it, so to say. And like I said, some areas were just mayhem, dude. Like you're just much better off just going back to like Shadow Valley or just, finding some packs of mobs, just grinding it out. Because
Well, Warmane doesn't layer anything, right?
yeah, that is true. But then again, Warmane, yeah, that is true.
Because I think
That's one thing.
Benediction is going to have like 10 or 11 layers on launch
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I
That-
remember
So it might not be terrible.
Whitemane
It'll
had
still be
10
bad.
on launch, maybe
Mhm.
11 at its top, but that was when Whitemane was like 13,000 people. So I don't know. Benediction's going to be scary.
It'll be like 30 layers, like
Yeah.
It's going to be
do
scary.
I do
Well,
have a
and-
feeling
and-
people are going to spend like most of their time in like the Nexus and Utgard Keep, like those entry-level rat dungeons, and just spam it out over and over again with like like an AOE cleave group looking for 3
Oh,
mages.
yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
I'm sure RXP will have their 5-man leveling guide as well as their normal guide. So I'll just use whatever they're doing.
Yep, same.
Yeah, it really takes the effort out of it, right?
Oh, it's so
Having-
nice. It's so nice having the any guide. Like there's
Yeah.
what's the other one, like Lime, whatever, and Guide Lime. I think that's one of them. And then there's Zygors, and then there's RXP. It's nice to have that little arrow. Because especially if you're streaming, because you don't even have to pay attention to what you're doing. You're just talking to chat, following the arrow.
Yep.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I
So,
just
like you don't have to go like, oh, what am I killing? Where am I going? Like what is this?
Or
what
you have to
I
like
loved
plan it out in
about
your
it.
head, right? Like I'll be like,
Mhm.
okay, so I should go up here first, and then you like end up going up here and then back down here and then back up here, and you're like, come on.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
the part that I love is when I go, oh, I went and turned these 2 quests in because it gives me 2 more quests that are over here with these other 3.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
when I really love the guide. I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah, RXP
Nothing's
with the
worse than
speedrunning
going through a
stuff.
cave to kill one thing and then getting a quest that you have to kill everything else that you had to kill to get
Yeah.
to that one thing, and you're like,
Yeah.
seriously?
RXP changed my life in Classic when I was using it.
yep,
and
same.
and I hit like level 40. Because that's the forever 40s, right? Like you hit 40 and you're like, where do I go? There's all these quests. There's one in Darnassus. There's one in Ironforge.
Yeah.
Like, where do I
it's
go? What am
all
I
over
doing?
the place.
And they streamlined it to where it's just like okay, go. You're gonna go to Darnassus and you're gonna get these 4 quests, and 3 of them are gonna lead you with follow-ups from like WPL all the way to Ungoro,
Well,
and then you're gonna do all the Ungoro quests
like,
at once. And it's
it'll-
like, what?
It'll have you throw quest items in the bank for 5 levels. And then they're like, all right,
Yeah.
now go back to the bank, grab these, because now we're headed over to here and you're going to turn in these 4 quests you've had sitting complete forever. Like, it's really
Mhm.
cool.
And
Like,
it tells you, my favorite was that it tells you to delete quest items. You know how you like get done, like you're like 10 levels later and you're like, what is this item in my bag? Do I need
Yeah.
this? Have to
Yeah, it'll
Google
tell
it.
you
you're
can
like
delete
halfway
these
through
now.
phase 2 and you're like, oh, that's a quest from Hellfire Peninsula. Shit. I've been carrying that
I mean-
for months.
I'm gonna hit 80. I swear I'm gonna hit 80. Like the week 1 of Wrath ran out, like 3 days in, I'm probably gonna ding 80, and I'm still gonna have Archmage Vargoth staff in my inventory.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yep.
At this point, I have it macroed in a Shadow Bolt, so I like always cast the Archmage while I'm in doing boss encounters and stuff.
That's
You have a new one in Rat.
hilarious.
You have a quest chain where you have to talk to Bran Bronzebeard with a communicator, so you can do the same thing, same thing,
Oh,
with that
nice.
item. Yeah,
Heck
you
yeah,
can.
let's
So there you go. Get
We can
that.
do
You can
2.
win people. 2, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have
Exactly.
Archmage and Bronzebeard.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
All right, well, that's it for the news. Kind of short and sweet this week. So let's move into
Bobby, we need to have a talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. Do I look like I know what a WoW token is?
all right. So is that the first time you heard that, Wiki?
Yeah, no, that's the first time I've heard that live.
Same.
Oh man. All right. So in discussion, we're going to talk about stuff in Wrath that just hasn't really been talked about in a lot of different YouTube videos and things. And just like some of them are smaller things, but some of them are, I think, a lot bigger than we really think about. So the first one that I haven't heard talked about a whole lot, and this is in patch, I did it by patch, but it should be, we should be starting a patch 3.3. So, but this is stuff that changed in 3.0, and spell power is one of them. Gear no longer has healing power.
So good.
It's like, just spell power. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Do you want to explain like kind of what that changes?
Oh yeah, sure. It just that means that there's no like damage and healing anymore. It's just one flat spell power just for like both damage and healing. So you're not gonna have like healing gear where you're gonna have like 1,000 healing but only like 333 bonus damage. And I mean I love this change because it requires you, even if like I did a lot of dungeons as an elemental shaman and a balanced druid on Wrath Lich King private servers. So even with my full like let's say tier 8 whatever balanced druid gear, it's still the same amount of spell power as let's say quote unquote healing gear. It's at least close,
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to like constantly wear around 2 sets of gears. At least you don't have to force yourself to have that. And I love the change. It was just, it goes really well hand in hand with dual spec, where you I can queue as an elemental shaman, as a restoration shaman. I let the dungeon pop, or at least that's not going to happen in Wrath because, it's still up for grabs. But, you can join the dungeon, like, all right, fine, I'll heal, I'll change my elemental. And then, you can still do decent healing even when you're wearing an elemental gear, so to say. Mm-hmm. So I love it, absolutely.
Yeah, because
I love it until I'm making a loot list.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I love it until the mages and warlocks are all rolling on the same rings and trinkets as me. And I'm like, God damn.
That is true. Yeah. You get like stem, intellect, spirit, and then like there's like a headpiece which is stem and spirit spell power and a meta socket. And then you're like, yeah, this is like pretty much for everyone. Maybe not for warlocks or something because they can life tap with the spirit. But that is one thing that is kind of a downside. So the way they differentiate it really now is just the secondary stats. Obviously stuff with hit is for like damage dealers and like so but yeah, it kind of homogenizes gear, if you will. That is true.
For the cynical side to come out, I'm just going to re-emphasize, if you are a healer, this is no offense to you.
All right.
Any contested items between healers and DPS should always go to the DPS first. If you take the game with any seriousness at all.
Think so.
The reason being is that you do not heal bosses to death faster. Right?
But
if you want to kill the boss faster,
then you can't kill the boss.
Yes, but if we kill the boss fast enough, you won't need to heal as much.
Yeah, but the idea of people wanting to kill the boss fast enough makes them ignore mechanics and then giving the healers a harder time. I've had so many groups where oh my god, this boss was so easy, and I'm literally like sweating, having used all my cooldowns. They have no clue how hard it was for me to heal everything, and they're like, "Why are you out of mana? What? I can't pull. What are you doing?"
You know what I would say to that?
I've done so many fights like that where Gip and Bob will start talking about the fight in the pick. It was so easy, and I'm like, I'm sitting here having a mini panic attack because you freaks are like, we just stand in the goo and nothing happens. I'm like, really? Nothing happened.
As a DPS, my answer to that is congratulations, you did your job. Good job.
And then your job.
I mean,
what do you mean?
DPS, apparently you're a DPS. I want to just know, do you have your health bar just disabled? You just never look at it?
I actually run a macro. My health bar is always at 1 HP. I'm not even kidding. I'll send the macro in the chat later.
I'm sorry.
It's 1 HP macro.
This kind of hits home because I've been a healer for years, and
you would hate me so much because I made a warlock, right? If I it's funny. This is a character flaw of mine. Whenever I'm in an oh shit situation, like if I find myself like targeted by a boss ability or I accidentally step into the fire on anything, right? My instant reaction is I've just pathologically I've trained myself to life tap at all. And it's because the best time to life tap when you're a warlock is when you have downtime, you can't cast spells, so it's while you're moving, right? So now it's just like I keybind my life tap. It's like is one of my strafe buttons is if that's engaged, I'm life tapping. That's just like how it works for me. My brain cannot handle not life tapping while moving out of danger.
Oh my god.
So like I'll take an absurd amount of damage and then my reaction will just be like, oh yeah, life tap.
Anytime I move at all, it's like life tap
Yeah.
It's three things: life tap, what's it called? The instant fear,
Death Coil?
death
Yeah.
coil, and then
Shadowbird.
Shadowbird. And it's like
Yeah.
just in my brain, and sometimes like I'll do it on like a like trash mob, and like it actually works, like the fear part. I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's terrible. I do it all the time on accident. Like if I'm on fire on what's the boss in Sunwell that lights you on fire, you have to run out to the side.
Oh,
On
the
somewhere?
second guy,
Brutalis.
Brutalis.
I'll be on fire with Brutalis, like slowly burning to death, life tapping. It's a great time.
And
Shaking
this
my
is why
hand.
the
I'm just-
healers don't feel bad when the warlocks die.
See,
That's true.
Exactly.
But to be fair, I'm the only warlock I've ever seen in my entire life who drains life on a boss fight. Because I'll tap
Okay.
down and I'll drain life to mitigate damage.
I do at different situations. It is definitely situational though.
Yeah.
But
I save my healers by drain lifing.
Do you?
Wow.
so I
Because I'm
guess
compassionate. Now give me your
You're
Shroud
They're
of the
so
Highborn.
lucky to have you.
Yep, now give me Shroud of the Highborn.
so yeah. Wiki's got his thing. I'm gonna pass. I'm under the way I think about it is I like to tip my healers. So if they need an item, I'm gonna give it to them because I don't want to heal and they're healing, and I appreciate that. You know.
Nah, they're healing because they like healing. Let them heal because that's what they like to do in the game.
I'm healing because else I cannot else the group does not get going. Usually the guys like, okay, fine, I'll respect your resto.
Mm.
So it's
No,
either
see,
you know
you can't be passive like that. You got to put your foot down.
That's
I
why
played
I
an
just
elemental
don't play
shaman. The only people
classes.
wanted me to go resto, and I was like, imagine me healing. No, I'm playing elemental, and it sure took 30 minutes to find a group, but
yeah,
but I'm casting lightning bolts.
That's why I just
True.
don't play any class that can respect a healer. And then when people are like, "You want a tank?" I'm like, "Oh,
No,
So you never play a druid, I guess.
no,
Because it
yeah,
can heal
no,
and
never,
tank.
Yeah,
never do
right.
that.
Yep."
I actually hate that argument of like you hear it all the time. People say like, "Oh, there's so many warriors on the server, and they're all fury, and nobody wants to tank, and we can't get groups. All these warriors are selfish." And it's like, or they pay a monthly subscription to play the game, and they want to be a DPS class.
I'll be honest. My
You know?
my second spec is gonna be tank for my warrior in Wrath, just because tanking right now sucks. Like TBC warrior tanking is freaking hard
it's
and
terrible.
sucky. Like
Yeah,
I'll definitely do it in Wrath, and I won't be the best. Like that I could take me on raids to tank, but I mean I'll be able to tank some 5-man dungeons. I'm pretty sure, just freaking fine.
yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, because he's gonna have a healer with him, who's
I
gonna keep him
understand.
Back
back
to
through
the
all his
healer.
stupid tanking pulls.
I understand like homies, right? Like if you got homies in your guild and like one of them's a fury warrior and he's like, "Oh, let's go do heroics. I can tank. I'll tank it." That's
Yeah.
fine. But like when other guildies start jumping in and they're like, "Oh, well, Joe Schmo over there has 3 different tanking viable classes and none of them are tanks and he'll never tank our heroics and we're not getting enough guild heroics done or whatever." It's a problem like early launch always.
Yeah.
There's like 3 tanks and everyone else in the guild.
See, what you do is you say, "Sure, I'll go tank," and then you just do a really, really awful job, and nobody ever asks you to tank again.
Dude, that's what
There you go.
happened to me in Classic Vanilla. They're like, ZG was coming out, and they're like, "All right, Bob, you're gonna be our off tank for this first run." I came like all ready, like, and I had no idea how to tank, and I was also a lot inebriated, and they never asked me to tank again.
That's good.
Yeah.
And you could go the other route, which is usually what I do. Sure, I'll tank, but it's going to cost you.
There
I
you
want a
go.
primal
There
nether
you
or
go.
some gold. Like,
Right.
I'm not going to click that respec button for nothing, man. Just
Heck
do
yeah.
something.
No, that's a
Like,
great
and
idea.
I totally understand what you're saying, Winky. Like, okay, I think they, people can play whatever they want. If they really hate healing, sure. But I definitely had groups where I was looking for either a tank or something. Like, I was a healer. We're looking for a tank, and then I'm sorry, but I'm giving 2 red pallies in my group to Brown Eye. Come, like, could one of you please? And none of them, of course, I know I have no gear. I'm sorry. I know I have my buttons, this, that. I have no gold for respec, blah, blah, blah.
We have a red
It is
pally
funny because Prop
who
Pally is so fun in TBC.
we have a
True,
red pally who
true.
refuses to take like gear nobody could use. They're like, all right, well, you want a healing piece or a tank piece? He's like, no healing piece. He'll take the tank
Disenchanted.
pieces, but he won't take the healing pieces.
I'm actually excited. I'm gonna play Prop Pally and Wrath as like not my main, but it's gonna be like what I'm on most of the time while raid logging with the lock. And my tanking style is very. People love it or people hate it. Like, because I'm one of those tanks. You've all seen them, right? You go into the dungeon and the tank doesn't stop backpedaling for the entire dungeon. Like, I will just backpedal the entire way, drop a conch, throw the shield, keep backpedaling, and if you can't keep up, that's your fault.
Yeah, I'm
And that's
never doing
just
a
my-
dungeon with you, Winky.
Yeah, no, no.
I'm so glad I play Horde, not Alliance, because
Yeah.
you can't play together.
That's my style. And there's certain healers that love it because they hate downtime and they're like, oh, this is so fun. I get to press all my buttons all the time and
That's
pop
fine. You put
cooldowns. Like,
You get a shadow priest in the group too, and you can pull all day long.
Yeah.
yep, there you go.
I imagine it's fun if you're like Resto Druid, especially in like Wrath, because you got like Life Bloom, you got like, rejuve, regrowth, and then
Yeah,
Nourish,
that was
I
my
think,
main.
and like,
Back in original Wrath, I was prop paladin. My best friend was the Resto Druid, and we were like constantly just pulling the entire dungeon and having a blast.
Speedrunning
It was a good
everything.
time. Yeah,
I don't know. Discipline Priest could be pretty fun in Wrath. You're like, DPS, bubble, renew, back to
Yeah.
penance on the tank. Like, I mean,
Yeah, that's
heard
true. Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're and in PvP, oh my gosh, man, that's gonna be like my third character that's the boost character I'm gonna boost to 70 is gonna be a priest again, so I can
I thought
PvP
Death
heal.
Knights were gonna be like the overpopulated, like guild breaking class because like everyone's gonna reroll Death Knight. Turns out it's Disc Priest. At least in my experience, like so many
Okay.
people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm quitting playing my rogue. I'm gonna
Ooh.
play Disc Priest."
Holy Pallies too. Everybody wants to be Holy Pallies too. They're actually good in PvP again too. Like it's
Paladin is just god tier in Wrath.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
The
really
whole
is
the
good.
whole class. Ret's really good. Holy
Red
dope.
finally gets to be something other than just
Dude,
a
Divine Storm is
placeholder?
sick.
I feel kind of bad for Elemental Shamans though. PvP wise, they're good. PvE, they're early on, they're pretty decent, but late Wrath, oof, just oof.
Really?
It's
I feel like Shaman are getting the shaft in Wrath entirely just because it's like every raid team right now is like, we need 4 Shaman. Like, we
Yeah,
need
but that's-
4 of you.
exactly.
And now it's like,
that-
now we need 1 of you. You know?
Exactly, but that's the problem. Like Elemental Shamans, like in TBC, like they don't do the greatest DPS, but it's always like, oh, well, one of the best support classes in the game. Tons of totems and bloodlust. But now, like in Wrath, you have so many other classes that bring buffs. You got warlocks with like Fell Intellect or something like that from the Fell Hunter, and just a whole bunch of other classes. And now you
Well,
got like
totems are raid wide now.
yeah, totems are raid wide, and Resto Shamans, like the Flame Tongue totem in TBC, you get that Flame Tongue buff on your weapon, but Flame Tongue totem in Wrath is you get spell power. So you also, like, a non-elemental shaman also gets, like, it's just,
Well,
in terms
and-
of buffs, they fall flat really fast.
yeah,
And I have,
and-
like, go ahead, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna throw in the part that like tendinitis is in, and you could like bloodlust and heroism's raid wide. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That
having
also,
you can't do like multiple lusts and stuff like you could before. Like now it's just like
exactly.
you just like for a long fight, 2 will probably be fine, and you probably won't get past that,
Yeah.
those buffs.
I have two. I have an elemental shaman and the balanced druid on war main, and they're both kind of equally geared. I think my balanced druid is a little bit better, but they both have like really good gear. And my balanced druid just easily does 4K DPS more. It is ridiculous.
Mhm.
Like I'm not saying like they're really really bad. They're still good in terms of DPS. And early on they're all right, but just late, it's late game. It's all about the enhancement shaman. If you really want to try and
It's
parse
funny because
really
I was on war main before this recent fresh, and I played enhancement shaman because I've mained enhancement shaman until classic came out, and I like hard switched to warlock.
nice.
Because I love shaman. It's like the lore and like all that stuff. It's my favorite
Yeah.
class in the entire game, right?
Awesome,
But-
nice.
I just wanted to do something different than when I was a kid. So I went warlock this time around, but I still, whenever I jumped on private servers or like wanted to experiment on, in betas, I was always enhancement shaman. Dude, the people on Warmane laughed at me when I told them I was enhanced, and they said like we're not going to bring any enhancement shaman to any of these
Yeah.
raids because the raids are tuned up, and it was like unless you're like the meta of the meta, it just doesn't work.
Well,
I understand because on Warmane at least it's really hard to find a good enhancement shaman. So many people are like enhancement shaman. Oh, they just think you're also a pretty bad enhancement shaman. So you got to like put in effort to make it work. But if you do, it's kind of like feral druids. They're if you really know how to play a feral druid in Wrath, it's amazing. If you just barely know anything about it, then yeah. But there you go.
Well, it's funny too because like they make shaman's life so much easier with your totem packs, like where you could drop 4 totems at once. You could set those up. Like things get so much better for them, but then like they're just no longer meta.
Exactly. Also, no more Wind Fury totem. At least Wind Fury that gives you the buff. Wind Fury now gives like flat haste. So
yeah, it's good for it's no longer like the bees. Like I remember, which is funny because like I didn't PvE a whole like at all really in TBC, and I just remember being like, whoa, this Wind Fury is nuts. Because like in Wrath, like you don't really use it. Like I was still using poisons on both weapons, like so I was just like, huh. It's something I just never experienced because I was Alliance in vanilla, and then in TBC I was like Horde, but pure PvP Warlock basically for the entirety. So yeah, it was a really weird thing. But we need to move on. That was a long tangent for spell power.
Spell power is good, people. There you go.
All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the in-game calendar. Now this is something that I'd forgotten about. This is great because, so first off, it shows things like raid lockouts. Okay. Then it also shows like BG weekends coming up. So no more like, oh shit, is it AV this next weekend? Wait, no, I think it's AB. It like just straight up shows you what it is. Different events like Brewfest and the Halloween events. These will all be on the calendar. And on top of that, it is a feature that they added, like that they kept working on throughout Wrath, but we're going to get the ending calendar, but it has in-game raid signups. So you can sign up in-game for raid. And for the top guilds, I think Discord will still be the way that they do it because we've gotten really good at the Discord sign-up stuff with what everybody uses. But for casual guilds, I think this will be way better. Like,
yeah, sure, but the only problem that the in-game calendar doesn't have, maybe they'll change it, is that you can sign up with your character, but it doesn't show what you are. Like if there's like a Discord raid, I can click on Druid. Not only Druid, of course, I can click on Balanced Druid or Resto Druid. So they know like, all right, we're gonna have 2 Boomkins. But of course, if you see the in-game calendar and you have 2 Druids, then you need to know who those guys are and what spec they are. So that's. But then again, you get dual specs, so they can switch it around, so it's not going to be that much of an issue.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think casual guilds will really get a lot of use out of that feature, whereas like the top end guilds running 6 different raids, they're going to be still using the more intricate Discord tool.
Well, and I think it means you can sign up. Like I can sign up for raid without having to log into the game. Very helpful for me because I don't log into the game as much as I look at Discord. So.
Yeah,
I have this crazy theory. This might be another tangent. I'm sorry, you guys should know I go on tangents. I don't know why I do this.
Is it cynical Winky mode on again?
It's actually very it's
anti-healer because we need to cut that shit out.
No, I think it's not cynical as much as it is depressing.
We're gonna call them tankies. We're gonna call them tankies.
All right, we got a tanky coming in. You could just subject like here's the header for this subject. Discord killed World of Warcraft.
Okay, I can kind of see it. Yeah.
Think about it, right? Because what did you used to do when you were having the authentic classic experience? You wanted to talk to your guildies, you would log into the game, stand in a city, and hang out in guild chat. Right?
Exactly.
Now you log in on an off night, and there's 3 people online that are either grinding gold or doing a random daily or whatever. but the community and like the culture of World of Warcraft is gone.
That's very true. Yeah.
Well, it's in
And
Discord. But don't
yeah,
you
it's in
think-
Discord now.
Don't you
right?
think
Yeah,
that
and you
just
sit
moved.
there in
Discord-
voice chat talking rather than
Yeah.
typing
Discord
anything.
didn't kill World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft failed to evolve into find
True.
something that could compete with Discord, right? They had their
Yeah.
chance many
Yeah.
moons ago,
True.
but
And they added
They
the voice chat. You know, at some point nobody ever used it.
It's in the game now. But
I don't even know
nobody
how to
uses
use it. I've never used it.
I was just looking. I was just looking for something the other day, like to change the setting. I was like, "Oh, voice chat settings."
Mhm.
I don't know how to use it either. I didn't. That's as
Yep.
far as I got. I just saw it. Was like, "Oh yeah."
I mean,
I
they
just
needed to
think
make
that it,
something
like-
that looked like Discord that was in the BattleNet launcher, basically, right?
Basically,
That-
yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
that
raid
you didn't
planner.
necessarily have to be in the game, but you were in, like, I don't know.
I think that's the
Cynicism.
problem though, is and it's not, I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing. It's very good in like quality of life and you know, people, but it's just like guilds and communities, they do all of their interactions now out of game via Discord. And it will never be the same
Yeah.
as back in the day when you would log into WoW, stand around in a city, type in guild chat and join a TeamSpeak or a Mumble or a Ventrilo server and just chat with your friends. I mean, they've got guild bank add-ons in Discord. There's all kinds of things you can do with Discord.
It's so true what you're saying, because I remember many times where I would just literally what you say, just talk in Orgrimmar with people. I cannot
Mhm.
remember the last time I just randomly hung out with people in Orgrimmar and just talked to them. Maybe if there were like non-guildies, but it's very rare. And I
Yeah.
used to do that stuff a lot because it was exciting, you know, back then, of course.
Yeah, but nowadays it's even if you meet a non-guildy, it's like, let me invite you to my guild Discord and give you the guest role.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and it's like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I just think that it just is another one of those factors that like reinforces the fact that classic WoW is not hashtag no changes vanilla WoW. It will never be
Absolutely
vanilla
not.
WoW.
Oh no,
No,
yeah,
no.
it can't be.
And you'll never be able to replace those good nostalgic memories of like you and your friends hanging
And do
out
you really want to?
in the I do. I
mean,
absolutely do.
That's the same
I
thing I
would love it.
learned playing private servers of Ultima Online. Like, it's never
Yeah.
gonna be that Wild West where like there were so many people that had no idea what they were doing, and like I was the one of the few guys that knew what they were doing and just reaping the benefits across the board. Like that is never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Everybody I run into in UO private servers now is me, and they're better
Yeah.
than me. And it's like, I mean, same really in WoW now. Like, I mean, I was great, originally because I did all kinds of research. Like, I was younger and faster too, but I mean, really it was the research and just knowing everything, knowing more information than everybody else that actually made me better. And now everybody's just better than me. Like, it's just,
Mhm. Shout outs though to people like on RP servers. It's not my style of the game as like I wouldn't want to full time it, but there's a special someone named Grandmother on Bloodsail Buccaneers Horde side, and every Monday and Thursday you can log into Bloodsail Buccaneers Classic. This is Classic era, right? And she sits there in the crossroads, and people sit around her like a campfire, and she tells stories every Monday and Thursday.
oh, that's
in-game.
great.
So shout outs to people like that who are
That's
like
awesome.
fighting against
And she
the
doesn't
meta,
even
and,
stream,
like,
huh?
she doesn't stream, she doesn't do anything. She just does it for the love of like RP,
Oh,
which I
that's
think is really
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
That's really awesome. Have you guys ever had? There were like some bots, well, not bots, but like chat bots on private servers where it was just like an in-game quiz. There was just some character standing around, and it just like questioned what is the main villain of the Burning Crusade expansion. And as soon as you type the right name, it would give you a point, and people would stand around and guess the name, and of course you were the fastest. So, did that ever
I
happen
remember
on
that.
your servers? Because I remember that. That was
Huh.
really cool. That kind of took me
does
back to
sound
the whole.
That used to happen on Alex Straza in retail back in the day. I would
Yeah.
play on Alex Straza. There was a dude that would stand in the city and give points out for quiz questions.
Because that was my probably the last hanging out and chatting in Orgrimmar or whatever moment I had, because just that was really fun. I kind of miss it, but
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need more people to come back and like fight the meta, you know? Not saying I'm going to do it, but I would,
You know,
I would
we-
participate if somebody led a charge in that way.
We absolutely do. I mean, I like the article from Wowhead, but it's once again like how like save up all your quests. You know, like World Wrath against this amazing like leveling content, so to say. And now we're once again like planning. If you do it this way, you'll get to like level 80 in 4 hours. Yeah, but there's this beautiful zone. No. Spam dungeons.
Yeah, right,
Boom,
yeah.
get to it fast enough. And why to do next?
It's
Which
the
clearing greens. Like, give me a break, dude.
it's
Right.
yeah, it's what I talk about a lot in raiding. Everybody's like, pull, go, and I was like, man, I just want to. Okay, all right, let's go.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
all right.
it sucks because there's an expectation of like, you can't recruit people for your guild unless you have a good time on your raids. So it's
Yeah.
like the faster you go, the better you look on
Dude, it
on
stresses
the god of Warcraft,
Yeah.
Warcraft logs.
It
Right?
stresses our officers
Oh.
out every. Like, I feel bad for them every phase. It stresses them out because they're like, if we don't get through this, we're not gonna, we're not gonna have the clout to be able to recruit. And then we're,
you got to have the clout.
yeah, to get, at least to get good recruits. I mean, you can recruit.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you can
just
always
push
recruit.
you just push so quickly though, and then you get to this point where now everything's on farm and now everybody's bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, or you're just stressing dude, healers are chugging mana pots like on trash the whole time, just like you're just stressing
So
people
you're wrong,
out, man.
Winky.
Like,
You're wrong.
Oh,
Discord
man.
didn't kill
Stop live tapping.
World of Warcraft. Warcraft logs did.
oh, don't even
That's
get
true.
me. That would be a tangent for out, dude. I hate Warcraft logs, dude.
It's-
And it's people always go, Winky, that's such a boomer take. You're dumb. I'm not dumb. You're dumb, people. If you're thinking that right now, if you think it's a boomer take, congratulations. I don't care. You're dumb. Warcraft logs is the stupidest thing WoW has ever done.
And I'd say Warcraft.
I love
logs
it and
is
hate it.
people's mentality that see it as like the Bible. Oh, Warcraft logs. It's just nothing else.
It should be used as exactly what it was intended to be used for. It's an analytics tool for you to look at your performance and your raid performance to figure out what you're
Exactly.
doing wrong to clear the content.
But
It should not be used as like a clout chase tool. It should not be a speedrun timer. Imagine a third-party website just defying video game speedrunning culture, right? Speedrun.com is the #1 website for all things speedrunning in every video game ever. But for some reason, Warcraft Logs thinks that they own speedrunning for all of WoW.
Get this. Okay, so on top of that, the further we go and the more mechanics bosses have, the more Warcraft logs can really fuck shit up. Like for instance, on Muru, if you're all lock, you're gonna parse higher if as soon as ads come out, you start to seed. But really, the best way to do the boss is single target Muru until the Void Walkers come out. And that's when you start seeding. But if you seed early, you get a lot more overall damage, and it really like is backwards.
I'll have people in my chat. I've gotten in heated debate because I always say parsing is its own skill set. There's difference between being a good parser and being a good raider.
Exactly.
And people argue like, well, you can't get a good parse unless you're a good raider. And it's like, yeah, that's true to a certain extent, but like the essence of parsing is cheesing the fight, not knowing the real mechanics, or saying, I know the mechanics, fuck the mechanics. I'm going to do what I want for a better parse.
Yeah.
Especially
Right.
in
And
TBC with double lusts and triple lusts.
Or ignoring raid calls, like pulling threat and shattering because you just opened with you precast a shadow bolt to get that inch of a 99 point whatever. It's so dumb.
It's happened to me so many times before when I was raiding on guilds, and it's like the tank's like, okay, wait 5 seconds with threat, and still you have some DPS that start right at the beginning, and then they show up higher on the DPS chart, and then they, let's say, lose an item, because this happened before when I was an officer in the guild. We had loot council, and he's like, you didn't get the item. I was like, what the fuck, but I did the highest DPS. I was like, yeah, but you don't follow basic commands. Wait 5 seconds before you DPS. No one cares you did 20 DPS more at the end of the day. The boss still went down fine. You ignored basic commands. you don't get the item. Try again next week.
Crazy.
One thing-
Don't you?
Yeah.
Oh man, I hate
Bringing it
Warcraft
back
logs.
to Wrath, though, one thing that is nice about Wrath is it does start, like, as the game goes on, like, threat becomes less and less of an issue. And in Wrath, for instance, like, if I want to start single target on a boss and I want to go ham immediately, I could just go ahead and for my first tricks of the trade, just go ahead and tricks the tank and then do killing spree, and boom, the tank's set from that point on. And then I tricks a DPS afterwards and click off the buff to threat, and then they just have a DPS upgrade. But you do that early on, but then as your tanks get better, then you don't even have to do that. You can just tricks, a DPS right off the bat. It's just depending on like how fast your tank can go. But like you do, like I think the retail mentality is DPS start immediately because that's what they can do in retail. And like in vanilla,
threat isn't a mechanic in retail.
yeah, basically.
Exactly.
Well, to be honest, Wrath is kind of the beginning of threat not being a mechanic.
Yep. Wrath definitely. You will pull threat. Like don't get me wrong, but it's much harder to pull threat. Like.
Mm-hmm.
But last thing about Warcraft logs I have to say, just if you're listening in on this is just me being a bitter old man, but imagine a website. Just put yourself in an external view. Put your brain in another body that doesn't play World of Warcraft. Or like someone who is, a casual Warcraft player. Imagine a website telling you and 24 of your guildmates what qualifies as a real or not real run if you've killed all the bosses in a dungeon. If a website is telling you you have to play by our rules or what you're doing does not count in this MMORPG, why are you supporting it?
Wait, well, here, how about this? Like,
hey, let's skip this trash pack. Oh, sorry, that doesn't count for our minimum trash packs for our parse run. We got to kill that. Let's waste 25 people's 5 minutes of killing that trash.
Well, that's for speedruns, but let me defend them for a second. Like, they do try to like make the parses meaningful for the fight. Like, for instance, we had, I think, Jasmine's in the chat. I think it was Jasmine and one of our warlocks that were guilty of this. They were trying to cheese the healing parses on Reliquary. I can't say that. Reliquary of Souls.
Reliquary of Souls.
Yeah. They like the lock was just tapping during the little ad phases, and they were just healing them because like they lost no mana by healing, and like it was just cheesing. And so Warcraft logs made those parses void. So I think they are trying.
But why? Okay, you got to take it to the root though. Why were they trying to cheese it?
Because of Warcraft logs, like
because they wanted a better parse.
Yep.
Why do they want a better parse? For the clout?
Yeah, you got me there. You got me there. I mean, I was trying to throw some devil's advocate in there.
Like I was doing Molten Core, and I look over. I've got a recording. I was streaming. One of the paladins in my guild was standing in the lava, flash healing himself for the entire Ragnaros kill. And I'm like, what is this crap, dude? Come on! Like
my 99 parse.
Greed.
Yeah, my 99 parse on the warrior on that first boss with the 3 ads in Molten Core was me wrecking immediately, AoEing, pulling threat on everything, so I got more rage and like almost dying just to get that parse. And like it was not a smart thing to do and made it, hard for the tanks. Like,
well, but okay, if you want to gigapump, this is a good example. If you want to gigapump as a guild, right? Battle chickens. Pop your battle chickens, get some attack speed buffs going pre-fight, then you pull the boss and your melee pumps, right? Don't worry, Warcraft log says battle chickens are no longer allowed. Guess what? Your guild now has to play by some website's rule because they don't like the rule, right? And you have to do, people will say, well, you don't have to parse, you don't have to be on Warcraft logs. Yes, you do. Because the culture of WoW requires you to have good parses if you're applying for a guild. They look at your parses, they look at your logs. As a guild, they look at your logs to make sure you have valid speed logs in which guilds they want to apply for, right?
Or
So
even
it's like
your current guild that might
forced
sit you for
Yeah.
somebody else.
You're forced into playing by these third-party rules that a website creates, even though it might not be the best thing for your guild to do. And it's frustrating.
I'm gonna make a competing website where it shows logs and parses, but it also shows how many jokes you make in TeamSpeak and how fun you are.
There you go.
Because,
Exactly.
Listen, I am that guy. I've never been top DPS, maybe once or twice. I'm usually like, I'm doing okay. I'm pulling my own weight. I'm never top DPS. I don't care about getting all the flash consumes. Sorry, I don't care. But I can have a conversation. I can have fun in TeamSpeak.
Yeah.
I know that is one of my jobs. I'm sorry, like, if I look at this, like, okay, would I want to be in a top guild with like 39 other pumpers that are clearing everything without a breeze, but there's just not a single chat going on? Or would I be in a semi-hardcore guild that wipes a few times, but the team speak's actually really fun? Sorry, I'm going to choose the latter. I'm not.
I mean, part
I
of the
think that
reason
matters too. So
That's
give
why,
me a Warcraft logs with like jokes and conversations. Like sort of like Uber, you can give someone 5 stars. This guy was funny as shit. 5 stars.
we need a Yelp. We need a Yelp review for Warcraft logs. But it's just so dumb. Like, battle chickens aren't allowed, but don't worry, we're gonna allow hunters to just download auto hotkey and macro their entire melee weaving and then that all those parses are broken. Oh, meanwhile, there's people editing their parses on the website to legitimately cheat it. Like, it baffles my brain.
All right. Well, that was the calendar feature coming to Lich King. All right.
I'm never
on the calendar. Or,
All right. So
Hi, I'm Winky. This is my last time ever being invited on the show.
if this is your last time, and let's say the developer of Warcraft Log is listening, what would you say to him right now?
What would I say to him? I would tell him to actually listen to his community and stop being a dingleberry. That's what I would tell him.
But I think he's just doing what Blizzard is doing, which is not really listening to their community. So
They don't. There's 4 people that work at Warcraft Logs, and they all
okay.
they do votes, and then everybody votes on it, and then none of it ever happens.
Okay.
They should talk to people like Jordy, people in Fusion, people in Progress, these speedrunning guilds, and they should work with people that actually play the game. Same as Blizzard. And I may be wrong. I'll end it with that. I may be wrong. I'm always open to being proven wrong, or just, hey, I'm never super one way hard stance on something. I'll always change my mind if I'm given a good argument on it.
Well, this is
Unless
probably
it's Bob.
definitely going to be a clip for the. This is going to be the Warcraft Logs clip for the new YouTube Clips channel that I'm launching next
Oh,
week.
you should name it the new calendar feature clip.
Yeah.
And then just...
Make sure to put the part where I don't sound like an asshole at the end.
All right. Well, and then okay. So the next thing I wanted to point out was trade skills can now be linked by shift clicking the trade skill. Now, what this will do is you just link your trade skill, and they'll be able to scroll through all of your stuff, see what mats they need for the different enchants, see what enchants you have, instead of you having to scroll through all of the stuff to link them each, individual enchant.
Yeah, so good. Like, I don't think anyone just like, no, we don't need this immersion.
Get that out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
The game.
Yep.
Literally unplayable.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty awesome because, like, I mean, I have TSM, so I'll do a search, which is nice when I'm looking like for a specific enchant. But like, I can't imagine the in-game like option of just scrolling through and be like, where is it? That sounds horrible.
Listen, Bobby and I were playing yesterday, and he's in guild chat asking, he's like, can anybody do Executioner enchant? Can anybody do Executioner enchant? And I looked at him and I was like, I can do Executioner enchant. He was like, what? And I'm like,
I've lost the
linked it to
roll
him.
on it 3 times in freaking CA. Like, I've lost it to an alt one time. I'm just like, dang it.
It's
Still
the
don't
best
have
when you-
Mongoose. Like, I have no enchants that require the next rod. Oh, yeah. And so I'm trying to get my Executioner, and she's like, it says it requires. I was like, oh, my God, you don't. Hold on, let me go buy you the mats to make the next rod. So, like, she gets the next rod, like, the enchants. I just, so sad.
It's very sad.
All right, next on the list, quests can now be shared with party members at any distance, and
Thank
you
God.
can also link a quest and they can accept it from the link, which I thought was cool.
I never even knew you could do that.
Me neither.
Me
You
either.
could accept
Yeah.
it from the link?
Yeah,
But how do you do
Wow.
that? You just right click and then accept or something? Like, how does that work?
I assume you would just left click on it, it would pop up the quest, and then you click accept.
Here comes the chicken feed Westfall Alterac Valley spam again.
Oh, okay.
Dude, Scotty J did a video the other day. I meant to message him. He said that you can't get that right now, but I went and got the chicken just like 3 weeks ago, like in TBC. He said you
Wait,
couldn't.
he said you can't do it?
Yeah, he said you couldn't buy the special chicken feed. I meant to ask him about that, but totally
that's
forgot.
weird.
Yeah, I was watching it late at night. But yeah,
Just Scotty out here lying. You know, what else is normal?
it did.
What else is different?
The egg was actually, though, classified by my bag add-on as junk, and I sold it. And I had to buy it back. Like, so I had to put it in my bank for now because, like, I don't want to accidentally sell it.
I actually don't run those add-ons because of that. Like, I'm always afraid I'm going to accidentally sell like a piece of like a tier token or something weird's going to happen and I'm not going to notice it.
Yeah. I don't do the auto sell. Some of them you can like do auto sell junk.
Mhm.
I don't do that. But I like that it puts it all over here and I can just look and make sure that I can sell these things.
I'm a non-bag add-on guy. Is that bad?
Yeah, have bad.
I just have like
I have
8
no bag
bags.
add-on too. Yeah.
See,
I like
I've got
We're friends
Addy
now, actually.
bags, and it's amazing. ADI bags.
Dude, I tried it. I've tried every bag
it
add-on.
sorts everything out for you, gear. Like,
I
oh,
couldn't
it's
do
so
it.
nice.
I just couldn't do it. Like it had something to do with like soul shards when I was messing with some of the bag add-ons really goof up with soul shard, like soul bags.
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. Like I
Addy
didn't like having
bags.
just like a bag
That's
on my
it.
screen like that.
When I go under like a PTR or something and there's no add-ons loaded, I'm just like, what? I have to press Shift B to look at my bags. They're all split up.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm OCD though. Like I have one specific bag with like items I'll never delete and like Hearthstone mounts, enchanting rods, things like that.
One thing,
Yeah.
And then I have a bag for quest items and a bag for I'm just OCD and I'm always moving stuff around.
that is one thing I miss a lot. Like I used to do a thing before bag add-ons ever. Like I didn't use them back in the past, like when I played proper. And like I used to have like an enchanting bag with like my rod and all mats and everything in the bank, and I just flop it for another bag, like and then do the stuff I needed to do and then flop it back to the bank. That's one part I do kind of miss.
you can do that with Addy bags. You just have to go to show bags instead of show categories.
Yeah, but it doesn't sort them in the bags. I would have to like move them, or I would have to move stuff around at that point. And that's the whole reason I have the bag add-on, is so I don't have to move stuff around.
Okay.
All right,
It's
so
not that hard. You put them in the bag once. It's not like they go away. It's not like they randomize.
I don't know what they do. I just have the bag add-on now. I don't know what it does behind the scenes. All I know is when I got on PTR, I was like, oh my God, this is over here. This is what? All right, so moving on to 3.1. All ground mounts now swim without dismounting the rider. Flying mounts still may not swim. They will dismount you. But
Why would you go
Alright.
into the water on your flying mount is the real question.
True.
Yeah.
You went into a nosedive.
Yeah.
You wouldn't try to like sail with a plane, would you? Like, come on,
Right.
like,
Yeah,
it's two
exactly.
different things, guys. Come on.
This is just ridiculous.
This just alludes to the number one thing I'm doing in Wrath, which is the first thing I'm doing is fishing up that turtle mount.
oh yeah, the turtle mount.
It's my favorite mount in all of Warcraft. It's a 60% speed ground mount. And I love it. You can hit the
Nice.
space bar and it jumps and pops into its shell. Oh, dude, it's so sick.
Oh, dude, yeah,
I love turtles.
never had it, but that's a good quality of life. I mean, it's kind of annoying when you get popped off your
No longer
mount.
are you going to be running around in the wetlands getting dismounted as a gnome. Or
As a gnome. It was kind of like its own little mini game though, like trying to like
Yeah,
get to
jump.
the right spot so you could jump and not get dismounted, right?
Yeah, it's like the pixel perfect jump, but
Yeah.
everyone always messes up.
Uh-huh.
It was kind of, at the same time, it was kind of a fun mini game, especially in like Ungoro Crater, where you could make almost every jump. You just had to,
Mm-hmm. It's a
Chuckle
skill
as your
check,
partner gets dismounted multiple times. What are you doing over there?
Okay, so the next thing, players will now be able to queue for BGs from any location. Leaving a battleground will return you to the location where you were prior.
So that means like the leader queues us for BG in Ironforge and I don't get ported to Ironforge from wherever I was farming?
It ports everybody back to where... Well, shit, I don't know. Now that you're asking that, I don't know if it ports you to where I think it ports everybody back to just where they were before, regardless of
if you can queue from anywhere, you'll port back to where you were standing when you queued. But if you queue from a major city and like run out into the world, it'll port you back to the major city because it's wherever you were when you queued.
But what if you're in a group
hope
and the leader queues you from the major city, but you're out in the world?
Then you probably go back to the major city, to be honest.
So how's that any different than the way it is now?
But nobody's going to queue from the
because you can be questing
masters
without a raid leader, right? You can be out there questing and just queue for a battleground while you're questing.
Oh, you can queue from like your bags or something?
From menu.
From the H menu, the honor menu, you can just queue.
Oh,
or I think it's I can't remember. It might be J even. I don't know.
I don't remember where it is, but it's somewhere in the menu. You can just queue.
And
so there's no more going to the Battle Master.
I hope they make Wintergrasp like a queuable BG. And
There's
you can
a lot
just
of
do
people
it.
have talked about that.
I want it like on a daily lockout, like a heroic, right? And then just queue for it. Because otherwise, these servers are just never going to be able to do Wintergrasp.
Yeah, they've talked about the back door because the raid's pretty important. So it drops PvP and tier. So
the raid's great.
The raid's great throughout the entire
actual battleground,
Yeah, well, the raid's great throughout the entire expansion because a new boss pops in every tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get the new season gear or whatever and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so all flasks will now be 1 hour. To compensate, all flask recipes provide 2 flasks at the same cost. I think this is great because I'm a 3-hour raiding raider, like
Same, yeah.
I hate having that leftover hour. It pisses me off every time.
Yeah, it is funny though, because it's kind of like the same thing, like you're using 2 flasks for 3 hours and having a leftover hour, whereas now you'll just be using 3 flasks.
Mm-hmm.
So like over time the 1 hour flasks are better, but in the short term it's almost worse.
You think? Why?
But it's the same amount of materials to make 2 flasks as it is to 1.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me being dumb.
It's just
an uncommon thing.
Yeah, it just works out better for people that don't, raid 4 hours. They just raid, or if you just do a Mount Hyjal, or something like a thing that just takes 1 hour, like it's definitely.
I don't know what
nicer.
it's like to use flasks. I have to use elixirs, so this whole not dying or dying and it still being active thing.
Yeah, it's just healer problems.
Damn healers.
I'm brutal to the healers.
You are, man. You are.
I'm a healer bully for sure.
I would not heal you.
Did a healer take your lunch money when you were younger? Like what happened, man?
Right?
We were talking about like drink walking as a guild in my dad guild before I left, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, make sure you get your drink walk, man. Your mana." And I was like, "Don't worry, the healer's mana is my mana. It's fine." And I was just like life tapping the whole time.
Oh my god!
I was like,
"You're like that person that like 5 people are taking damage, and it's like, yeah, wait, that's probably fine. We'll just heal the others."
We have a priest named Maitland, and he would always be like, "But my mana's at 50%." Like as we're running into a fight, and I'd be like, "Excuse me, Maitland, our mana is at 50%."
God.
Just once again happy that you're playing Alliance, so there's no chance of us.
Yeah, I'm just RPing as a warlock, chaotic neutral.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Maybe chaotic evil sometimes.
I mean, this is true. I mean, if you're RPing correctly, a warlock should not be courteous.
Not at all, no. And they should get Shroud of the Highborn prio.
Oh, it's okay. So you can no longer fail mining, herbing, or skinning. I don't know how I feel about this. I think it's good.
I like it.
Listen,
Less
this
chance
is
for
good
some
on
dingle-
Benediction
Yes.
because nothing's worse than getting there like a half a second before somebody else to get an herb, and then you
Mhm.
fail, and then they just get it, and you're just like, no.
Yeah, and they don't just like take it from you and leave. They take it from you and then like talk shit and then leave.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
lol, and then
Yeah,
fly
yeah,
away.
exactly.
Like that. Like
Like-
Jesus.
Like it was my fault that I failed that
Yeah.
herbing, right?
Exactly.
It-
Yeah, it's your fault. You should have rolled a Taran.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, 10% herbalism. Like,
damn.
I don't see it here, but I believe also mining, you get all of it instead of having to multiple mine.
Oh, you can one tap mines?
I think so. It's like herbalism and skinning
That's
now.
pretty nice, actually. That's a big quality of life upgrade.
Yeah, I think that's something that comes in later. I might even have it later in this list, but
I'll have to watch all the bots that do the mining and see if they tap it once or twice, you know?
just a little extra. Druids are able to stay in fly form and pick herbs too, starting
They're
from.
not.
Or is it already in the game? In TBC
Yeah.
Classic.
I think
Yeah, they
it's
can.
it's already in the game now.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a change in late
mind.
TBC. It was actually something we talked about on the show before TBC came out because two different WoW wikis with the patch notes had two different things. One of them said you couldn't do it. One of them said you could. And then one of our listeners used the Wayback Machine to look at the actual patch notes and send it to us. And it was changed in late TBC to where you could do it. So it's not an actual Wrath change.
Okay.
Kind of cool.
The druid privilege.
I hate
Druid?
We got to get something, dude. I mean, we're not.
I just
like,
hate
we don't
that
excel at
instant.
anything. So
The-
give us this.
the instant switch to bird. Like, although now that I'm not like world PvPing, it doesn't piss me off as much. But boy, when a druid would just get out of combat, be able to switch to that bird, I didn't get to kill him.
Druids are leveling machines when there's contested areas because with like instant mounting and even travel form in Moonfire, it's absurd. They can just tag
Yeah.
everything.
It was actually awesome in hardcore. When I was with Mel, I just had a macro I'd change for whatever named mob. I'd just sit there spamming. And then as soon as the mob popped up, boom, tag.
Yep. And you
People
slash
hated
rasp
us.
everybody and then walk away.
Oh, people-
RP walk away slowly.
People
There
got
were-
so mad at us. But I was like, dude, sorry, man.
They
There
get
were some
good.
instances where I was waiting with a bunch of other people, and you had to get like a specific quest mob. And what I did is I keen binded my Moonfire to mouse wheel down, and I had one of those mouse wheels where if you'd scroll, it would just keep
You
rolling.
just
I would just go,
spin.
and then just I wanted them to get it. So it's like, yeah,
I
I
used to do
just
that in Diablo 3 for movement. You just spin the wheel and like it would
yeah.
constantly move your
What
character.
sucks is like I just switched to this 12 button mouse like a couple months ago, and it doesn't have that feature. Like I was using
Yeah.
Shadow Bolt on the wheel and just spinning the wheel, and spinning up
Oh
would
my
do
God.
trinkets and destropots, and spinning down would do trinkets and mana and runes. Like,
So what
and
did you
I just-
rebind your camera controls to? Because I know people use like mouse wheel up for like pet attack and stuff.
Oh, my
I'd-
camera controls are plus arrow up, plus arrow down. The one on the
okay.
side of the keyboard.
I don't have a keyboard. I have a very small keyboard, so I
I-
have to do all my keybinds are like Shift Control X Y.
Mine, mine
V.
mine doesn't have the numpad, but it has the little 3 arrows and home and page up and end and all that.
For it.
So I have a very small one too, but yeah, that's like I just don't move the camera in and out all that much. Like I don't need it, and the wheel is so much like my wheel for my warrior is all the different stances. Like pressing it in changes me to defense, putting it forward, is
Wow.
you don't even
That is
have the
wow.
other piece.
No, I don't even have F1 buttons.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Like, Jesus,
This is the one I
wow.
use most of the time. I have a different one plugged in. I'm like troubleshooting it, but this is my the one I have plugged in right now. It's still small. It's just got F buttons, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, see, this is mine.
Oh,
Don't have such a fancy keyboard. I literally have like a $15 keyboard.
Yeah, well, one of my best friends in like IRL is like a keyboard connoisseur, so he like builds custom keyboards, and
I see.
he gives me all his old ones for like absurdly low prices. But he's like one of those guys that like he'll like lube his key switches and then like listen to it and be like, oh, it needs a little bit more of this, and then
Mechanical keyboard ASMR.
Yeah, basically he's like a hardcore mechanical guy.
It's funny because I've never had like a mechanical keyboard, so I am that guy when I'm over with my friends and they have a mechanical keyboard. I will just start tapping the buttons like I'm like amazed, like, and people are like, "What are you doing?" Like, I don't have this. Like, I have to like touch it. I'm sorry.
I can confirm though, like coming from like a normal, like I think I had like a Razer Corsair like K90 or whatever those are called, mechanical, they're like a custom built. They do all the soldering themselves. The keycaps are like high end. Like I think just the keycaps on this keyboard were like $200.
Jesus.
It's a very noticeable difference. Like typing on it, it wears your hands down less because it's like there's less pressure needed to push the buttons in. It's actually really, really smooth. Like I can't explain it. You have to try one out.
I don't know. I've got the greens. You know what I'm talking about? The green.
There's like green,
switches.
yellow, red, blue, brown.
The greens
I like the brown.
I like really like. It's real easy to press the button. Like it's just and it feels really good. But we are tangenting.
Yep,
so
tangenting.
Really?
So the next part that I wanted to talk about was the new and they work on this throughout too. So we're gonna get the ending thing, but basically the new quest tracking stuff in Wrath is like basically questy. I mean, like it's two panels. Like you get the map on there that shows you where you're going. It shows like the areas that those mobs spawn in. Like it's basically questy.
It doesn't unfortunately show you where there are quests available though. Like Questy shows you where you can pick up a quest, and the in-game quest map just shows you which quest you already have.
Oh,
so
interesting.
That's the thing. Like the first time I started using Questy was in Classic, and I really liked it. And then people were like, "Oh my god, what do you need to have it because your kid don't know where the bear asses are?" It's like, no, I have it because with Questy I found out quests. Like, wait a minute, like if I go behind this hill, there's a guy with a quest I never knew, and then that's what I used Questy for. So if you're someone that is like that, then still have Questy. You know, the in-game is pretty cool, but yeah, there you go.
If you want an add-on hack that'll make your life awesome, because Questy can be annoying, right? Can be annoying at times, like with just how much it clutters the screen. If you get Leatrix maps, right on your map, you can toggle Questy on and off. It's beautiful.
That's built into Questy. You can do that on your normal map without Leatrix.
Wait, no.
Yeah, it's at the top right corner. Yeah.
I never. Maybe they just did they add that in like I don't know 6 months ago or something. They might have added it in right when I got Leatrix maps, and I thought it was like a Leatrix maps thing.
I remember because I was playing Classic one day and I thought Questy was broken because it wasn't on my map. I was like, "Where's Questy? What the heck?" And then somebody in my guild was like, "Oh, click the button. You probably toggled it off on accident."
See,
and I did, and it toggled on.
This was during like the big craze of this was when I was going crazy doing hardcore. I got Leatrix maps just because I wanted to make the map small enough to where I could still see my character when I switched to the map. You know what I mean? Like, cause like that was very important for me to not die, like when auto running or something. And that's what I saw. So I wonder if Questy made that change right when I got Leatrix maps, and I thought it was a Leatrix maps thing.
It's entirely possible. I'm actually going to log in right now and see if I can. That's
hilarious. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess it's not a hack. My bad.
I actually don't like the change. I don't like the change. It's probably just me being a boomer. I'm just so used to playing with like classic, like vanilla and TBC maps.
Yep.
In Questlog that I kind of don't like it, and I like just having my map be the normal map with no little journal on the side or anything like that. It's just kind of like an aesthetic thing for me.
Well, isn't this? Can't you still just
okay,
use
top
your
right corner, there's
regular?
a hide Questy button.
Yeah, so Questy must have added it right when I got Leatrix maps. That's
Probably.
hilarious. Well, okay, but
is-
isn't this just in the quest tracker, not in your actual map? Like you can still pull up your map and it looks normal, right? This is just when you pull up the quest log, right?
Oh, when you hit the log button, it shows the map.
Yeah. It's like a big
It's
screen
like two panel,
now
like a map,
instead
and
of
then
like
on the right
this.
side's the journal, right?
Yeah, and the journal's actually really been reworked and more robust now too.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't like it.
I'm pretty sure that's how it is. I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of like I don't know. Like I really like add-ons and how they change this stuff, but sometimes the way they implement it in the game, like for some reason, like I don't know, it seems easy. I don't know what it
Lucky
is.
for both of you, you have the option to use this within the interface panel or not.
Oh,
True.
good. Yeah, good point.
Yep. Put the ownership on us to see what we like to do better.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, next is a new feature has been added to allow players to allocate talent points before confirming they'd like to spend them. So you can go
God.
through and build your spec, and if you accidentally put a talent in, you can right click and take that talent out, and nothing is confirmed until you actually hit the confirm button. This is awesome.
Nothing was more stressful than redoing my talents, right? And then
In
you
a hurry.
accidentally put a talent somewhere and you're like, can I make that
dude, the
work so I
worst.
don't have to pay another 50 gold, or do I really need to not have that talent there?
The worst is when you do it and you're live and people in chat roast the hell out of you for messing up your talent spec. Oh, it's the
Mhm.
worst. I cannot emphasize that. I was about to do a raid once and I was respecking and I was like, oh shit, I messed up and I didn't have enough gold to do it again.
Yeah,
It was a terrible idea.
People on Twitch can be bloodhounds, man. They spell it like, oh, you put 3 points in Unrelenting Storm instead of 2?
Yeah.
Oh my god, type.
I still think
Yeah.
nothing
You're
was worse
unbelievable.
than in Vanilla Classic when you would respec and you would spec into a skill you could only get through talents. You would have to relearn all of the you'd have to go to the trader and relearn all of the levels of it. Like you'd switch from arms to or from Fury to Arms, and you'd have to relearn all the ranks of Mortal Strike every time. And it's like, if you forgot to do that, you're just using Mortal Strike level 1 without even like thinking about it. It's
Yeah,
horrible.
I had a tank for a jump run once, and he was like, "Oh shit, I'm using rank 1, all my abilities. Like I just respect."
Ooh.
Yeah, because
man,
Tank
that
had a
must be
lot of
poor
them
dude.
in talents
Yeah.
too.
Oh, poor warriors, man. They had to spend so much money respecking.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, and then repairs, and then all the consumes, like warrior. You know, they talk about him being the Lamborghini of classic vanilla, but they cost as much as a Lamborghini too.
And they are as unreliable as a Lamborghini. Trust me. Yeah.
All right, so now we're moving on to patch 3.2, and this was one that was super controversial for me back in the day. So players will now be awarded experience points for completing objectives and actions that yield honor in BGs. This is where my twink died. I had a level 29 twink. Was awesome. He was a Ret Pally. He was amazing. This came in, and they quickly found out that the twink, population was very mad. And they also did another change to where you could lock your EXP, right? So you could lock your twink's EXP, and you wouldn't progress. the problem is, and like I think they did it in 3.3. I might be jumping ahead, but the problem with this is now they made you queue against other people who had locked their XP. And the beauty of a twink is that you're going against people and being a god in this level 29 BG. And like it went from being a god to being twink versus twink. And it was a different type of fun, but it wasn't the fun I signed up for.
I think I like the change, and I think it. I don't know. I feel like twinking and joining a lobby of non-twinks is just you laughing while you bully people.
It was so great.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
100%.
I could be in Arathi Basin and take on literally like
but what
people.
think about like the service you're providing those players who aren't twinks.
I know. I'm not saying it was a good thing.
If I had just played the game, and this is like this probably never happens, but it might. If I had just downloaded the game because like my mom or my friend told me like, oh yeah, download WoW, it's fun, and I joined a BG at like level 12, not knowing what was going on, and I just got obliterated by gnome rogues for 4 hours, and they don't cap the flags. They just sit there like dominating you, and you have to AFK out or just and then get the scaredy cat debuff. I probably would have this idea of like, yo, BGs are terrible. Like I'm never gonna do that again.
Yes, but at the same time, when I started playing WoW, I went to Stranglethorn Vale. I got my ass kicked many times.
Yeah,
and
true.
It never stopped me from going back to that zone.
Yeah, that's true.
It just like created like, I will get you one day, and I will just one day.
It's like a rite of passage, I guess. You're right.
I mean,
that's a good point. That's a solid point.
Normally in the twinks, like there would be twinks on both sides. They were your He-Men or your She-Ras, you know what I mean? Like, and the others were like your foot soldiers, like, and it really was fun. Like, it really was a good time. And they would be like, oh, it's a twink up here. And they'd send their twinks in and you'd be like, oh, now we're going to have a fight. Right. Like,
yeah, that's true. That is like, kind of cool.
It was a really cool sub game of the game. And it just sucked for me because I completed my twink. When this change came in, I had completed him and only got to play him for like a month, right? Because like because that was when like I made the twink after the heirlooms came out because I was like, oh, this is great. Yeah, I'll do this. Like, and he was so much fun. And then they made this change, and I was just like, oh, this isn't as fun anymore. And you didn't always get in a game with all twinks after the change, but it was. The queue times were way longer, and like they would finally throw you in with regular people at a point, but it wasn't the same, and it was kind of a bummer.
It's still better than in retail what they did to twinks when they implemented that items can like randomly re-roll as epics or blues. So like you'd spend like 19 hours farming a foam spittle staff off Murlocs in Westfall because it had to roll as an epic one for your twink. It was insane.
The only item that was really hard for me to get was the level 29 ring that is not in the game currently, but in the game starting in Wrath. You get it from the last boss in Scarlet Monastery.
Oh yeah,
library. Dead Man's Hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it would stun people, or no, it root them, like just a chance to root them while they're attacking you, and it was the coolest thing for a Ret Pally twink. I don't know, man.
Did you ever do the Timbermaw farm for your twink to get the medicine pouch?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, on 19 twinks, that was broken. It would heal you for like 8 of your health bars over time.
I never got into the 19 twinks because I still just really don't like. I don't like Warsong Gulch. Like my favorites. Arathi Basin, so that's why I made a level 29 twink, is just to do Arathi Basin.
Yeah, 19 twinking is kind of just like team deathmatch. They just go in there and just kill each other for hours.
Yeah, and you can never kill a Resto Druid. It's impossible. Yeah. It's like a twink Resto Druid is impossible to kill.
I like twinking. You can do a 19 twink Draenei Priest. And it's actually pretty good because Gift of the Naru is like super scaled up at that level. So like you have an extra hot. So you have like Renew and Gift is just, it's like insane levels of healing.
Nice. All right, well, but on the other bright side, working up characters, it is kind of cool to get experience in BGs. Like it's just another way to like break up the monotony of leveling up. But nobody levels anymore. Everybody just boosts. So I don't know how much it's really going to change for people. So
have you ever
we'll
leveled
see.
strictly through PvP before?
No, but I like you don't get enough. I don't think at this point. I hear in retail you could do that like pretty easy, but when they implemented this, I don't think. Huh?
I did it in Kata. I leveled an entire character from the minute I could QBGs. That's the only thing that I did. I think it was level 11.
That'd be something fun to try.
It was a grind, but it was really fun. Because you have all this honor and stuff. You can keep buying your upgrades from the PvP vendors. So like you'll go out to like Warsong and get like the cool sword and things, and it's pretty fun.
That does sound kind of cool. I've got a friend who did it a bunch on retail. And I guess it's like even faster on retail. So it does sound kind of fun.
Pretty quick.
All right. So what else? Oh, they're making different changes to things like Arathi Basin, Eye of the Storm, Isle of Conquest. If you're the poor schmuck that's smart enough to guard, because if you want to win a BG, somebody's got to do it. It's a dirty job. It's not fun watching the everything go on down there while you're guarding a point. Well, you will get a buff that grants you 50% honor gain from kills if you are guarding a capture point. So they start to like make changes to where there's benefits to guarding, because guarding, you're getting screwed out of a lot of honor, because all of those honorable kills that are going on elsewhere on the map, you're just not getting. And then that's why everybody leaves. And then as soon as everybody leaves, gets capped. I don't know. BG's kind of upset me at times, but yeah.
They really do.
The next thing is Dungeon and Raid ID extensions. So this is where your raid leader or guild leader can say, hey, on this raid, we're going to just, like, you're halfway through the dungeon. You really want to get more pulls on the boss you're currently struggling on. You can extend that raid lockout for another week. This is something we really wished we had for Lady Vash when we were working on her. If we could have extended her, I think we could have gotten her down a week early.
The pre-nerf. Yeah.
Like, extending lockouts is a good thing for guilds that are struggling, that's for sure. To be honest, though, I'm not sure in today's modern age and the quality of raiders people are now, I don't know if anyone's ever going to need to extend anything.
It might. Well, there might be a lot of people that want to do it for like Yogg Zero Lights. Like,
true. Oh yeah, like achievement runs. That'd be kind of cool.
So
that's true.
It's definitely possible for the different hard modes that people will want to have that extra time, because we are better gamers, but Yogg Zero Lights and things of these different hard modes are going to be tough, and it's not going to be like a ton of people getting it done. Like Sarth 3 Drakes up is not going to be as easy as I think people have in their heads is going to be. It's going to take some pulls and like your raid learning exactly what they need to do. So be interesting to see how people utilize that. Oh, and then the next is the big mount changes. So mounts go through a lot of changes. First off, you can now get your regular mount at level 20. You can get your epic mount at level 40. You can get your flying mount at level 60, and the base flying mount changes from that 60% speed in the air to 100% speed in the air, 60% on the ground. So
good.
Yeah, the regular flying. I mean, the regular flying shouldn't have ever been 60%.
No,
I mean,
it felt like such a downgrade. Like,
it just
it's
doesn't
more
even
expensive. Yeah.
it doesn't even seem physically correct. Like the physics of how slow, like you wouldn't be able to stay in the air with how slow they go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
for some reason, a fat Kodo is slower than a bird, or something like that. Like, or so a fat Kodo is faster than a bird. Like, how does that make sense? It's, oh,
so
Gold
that's
sinks.
but that's a good change though, because there's nothing funnier in TBC than just riding your epic ground mount and passing somebody flying in the air, and you're just like, huh. It's so comical. There was so many people when we were going into TBC that were like, no, the first flying is 150. I was like, nope, not TBC. It's good stuff.
Yep, you're flying on a snail.
All right, then moving on to the last patch, 3.3. So interesting for me, when going through all these patch notes, I realized Dungeon Finder didn't release until 3.3.
Yeah, it was a late release.
See,
Yep.
I thought it released 3.2, like during TOC, but it didn't. It didn't come out until ICC, like very late in the game. So I guess like all the stuff I was thinking of was like really more Kata than because I quit in TOC. So like I didn't really use the Dungeon Finder until coming back start of Kata. So all these times I was thinking I was using Dungeon Finder in Wrath, I wasn't. I was using it in Kata. It's interesting.
Probably.
Yeah.
I hope they actually follow that. I hope we get like phase 1 and 2 without Dungeon Finder, and then they add it in. Just to see.
Well, they're standing strong on not adding it in at all.
I know. I was talking to Grace for days, and he brought up a really good point of like, there's a lot of arguments for and against Dungeon Finder, and we'll never get a perfect sample of what Blizzard's Wrath Classic iteration is going to be like without Dungeon Finder, unless we get that at first, right? And then we won't know if it's actually going to make that big of a difference unless we add it in at some point and see, like, does it affect what people are complaining that it's going to like ruin the people in the world, et cetera, or will we know or will we not know? Like, we have to do it to find out.
Can I jump in real quick? Because
Sure.
I used to be anti-Dungeon Finder, and I'm a 100% for it, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because I know what people are saying, like, oh, it ruins like the social aspect. I'm sorry. Have any of you guys tried to find a group as a hunter when TBC just launched? Like, oh, but it gets rid of people talk to each other. No one wanted to talk to me when I was trying to look for a group as a hunter.
Yeah, you're not
no
wrong.
one. Looking for 2 DPS ramparts. Hey, need a hunter? Nothing. Yeah, but it ruins the talking. Like, get out of here. Like, come on.
I think
Same with my rogue.
I'm for the
Exactly.
Dungeon Finder.
I've heard you guys talk about it on the podcast too. Like, it's so hard to find groups. And for what? They're like not even like the hardest dungeons. And like you do fine as a rogue, you got some CC, you do okay damage. But it's just like, at least with a Dungeon Finder, you get rid of that stuff. And if you still want to like super spam heroics, you can find yourself a dedicated group. But with the Dungeon Finder, you just get lumped in with 3 DPS, and if it's really that bad, you can whatever blacklist them or whatever the fuck. Just it blows my mind. So I'm 100% for. I understand that before it got rid of the social aspect, but looking at how sweaty people are now, I'm 100% for the Dungeon Finder. There you go, rant's over.
I agree with you 100%. Like, I'm down for whatever they do because I really don't care that much. I'll fly there on my 280 speed mount, but I don't care either way. I'll do it. I would rather have it than not have it, though, for sure.
I think, like, and I've said it before, like, it's a very complicated thing, but I think the pros outweigh the cons, and like honestly, I think it's awesome if it just stays servers, like it at least tries to stay server side, because like being accountable is a thing, and people that say it isn't on big servers like Benediction, well, I beg to differ with you. We had 2 guildies that basically ruined our day the other day because they were griefing the Hellfire Towers. We're not letting the horde flipper accounts flip, and we just got blown up with tells from all kinds of people, and like saying that they're gonna like not flip towers for our guild if we're there, like all kinds of shit. And this is what would happen if somebody ninja stuff too on the same server. So like, I want it, but I want it to at least try same server first, then switch over a few minutes later to, like, I want it, but I think looking for group was always kind of fine. It's looking for raid I thought was what really screwed up WoW, and that's what I didn't like. Raiding.
Yeah, we've already done things like that though. We've already done GDKPs. That's basically looking for raid at this point, right? We've already done Discord has taken over the social aspect. You're going to do all your communication in Discord and with your guild. So like, yes, we all have this nostalgic view of what the community was like before, but
I just think it's good.
That's just not the way it is.
But I just think raiding, people are going to go out and search a way to get that done. Dungeons, people, if it's like a pain in the ass, they're just not going to do it. Like, that's where I draw the line and think looking for group dungeon finder is a good thing, because it will just bring dungeons up, and especially for leveling, like that's where it's really going to be missed, in my opinion, is like somebody's going to be like, do I want to look for a group constantly, or do I just want to boost? Like, I might actually decide to just do dungeons instead of boosting, just because it's easier doing looking for group. Like, so I think there's a lot of people like that too. And it's just like, I haven't even run Magister's Terrace Heroic at all on any character, because I don't want to deal with finding a group. Like, but if I could queue, I would have already run it 17 times.
I want to know, when Blizzard says, I mean, I hate to be this guy that's like, jump on Blizzard, I'm going to jump on the Blizzard hate train. But like, they bring it upon themselves right now. Like, when they say our community seems like they don't want Dungeon Finder, who are they talking to? Like, which community members are they reaching out to retail players asking about what classic players want or don't want? Or what is the process here?
What I think they just got looking for raid and looking for group mixed up, and they don't understand.
Well, we already know the classic devs don't play the game.
Yeah, that's one of, not all of them, but like, yeah, it is definitely that is definitely a problem. And whenever I see a classic dev getting interviewed by a retail content creator, I just cringe.
Dude, it's terrible. I hate to say, can I say names? I don't want to say any crazy names on here.
You're fine.
Okay, no hate to these content creators, but I've seen them interview Mr. GM on classic issues.
Why?
And I'm like, yo, I love Mr. GM. I watch his retail content. I don't understand why he is the voice of classic. Wow, he doesn't ever play it, and when he does play it, it's great content. But that, I understand, it's not his main game. Well, and if it was his main game, he would align with a lot of the opinions of the people who are playing it.
Well, even the recent thing with Asmongold, I guess that was more on retail, but like, that was Ian. But like, why don't you, like, if you want to get a big content creator that actually knows classic, I mean, S fan would be a good one, right?
Yeah,
like,
he still plays. I mean,
yeah,
even if
he was standing next to me queuing for our Ritas the other night. Like, he's still playing.
Get Peo.
Can you imagine Peo interviewing somebody?
It would be so sick. It would be the best interview
hilarious. Ever. Yes, it would be pretty funny.
Get Sarth, get Crix, get Sarth, get...
Yeah. Or shout out to Rugs. Rugs, I don't know if you guys
Rugs was just on
a lot about Lich King, so get
Rugs
that guy in.
Was just on seriously. 2 episodes ago, episode 97.
Yep,
like,
I've listened to it.
Get the people who actually play the game and ask them about it. Don't because you say this is a reflection of what the community wants, and it's like, which community? Because I'm with a lot of YouTube content. I see a lot of Twitch content. I'm friends with a lot of these content creators. Nobody in their chats wants anything that they're saying that the community wants. And it's like, okay, well, are you talking to the people on that don't associate with social media and just somehow you just know what they want? Because I don't understand it.
There's definitely a population, though. We've had many people write into the show, everything. Like, there's definitely a population that doesn't want Dungeon Finder at all.
Agreed. Yes.
But like, yeah, it's just weird that they thought they were like, this was a total win, because
they thought it was like 90% of the player base, or at least the way they worded it was like the vast majority of our player base doesn't want it. And I'm like, well, who are you asking?
Yeah,
did they just ask AOE cleave groups or something like that?
Yeah, I know. Are
they flying into in-game? You know, like I don't know. It's, and the crazy thing is, it's like your Wrath community is going to be way different than your TBC community, and it's going to be way different from your Burning Crusade community. If you want to know what the real Wrath community thinks, you need to go to private servers and ask the Wrath players, because there's a lot of people about to join Classic for the first time just because they main Wrath.
But even like, to be fair, to some extent, some retail players too, because Wrath is like this big jump. I'm sorry, Wrath is a lot more casual friendly. Like, dungeons, they take like 15 minutes and that's it. Or like heroic dungeons. And heroic dungeons in Wrath are super easy. Like they're so, even in like Nax gear, like early Wrath, they're super easy. And in like late game, I've had dungeons, heroic dungeons, where the tank, so to say, is a retribution paladin. He's not wearing a shield, and we still cleared it. So to some extent,
they're talking to the community, right? And they're saying things like, we're going to release pre-nerf bosses because that's what the community wants, right? Which is a reflection of like, okay, the community must be like the hardcore people who want difficult challenges and things like that. And then they're coming around the corner with a completely other community saying, no, they want no Dungeon Finder. And it's like, well, if you're listening, which communities are you listening to? Because no one that wants a hard mode raid that I know also is avidly against Dungeon Finder.
Right.
I don't get it. It's just, and I don't know. I hate the hate train with Blizzard. I don't like being part of it, but this one, they asked for it.
They deserve it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, just, you don't want the hate train, just do a better job. Ban some more bots, for crying out loud. Jesus.
The WoW community, retail and classic, over the years, it has become like the cool meta thing to do, to just hate whatever Blizzard says. Whenever they put out updates, automatically make a YouTube video on why all of those changes are terrible. You know, and like that's the meta.
I mean, that's why I try to keep this podcast pretty, like, it's one thing I really try to do. I try to keep it like pretty positive, you know, and like look at the bright side rather than the downside, because everybody, and I mean, I've definitely had rants and I've definitely been angry at times, but you know, I try to keep it
everything.
positive.
It's about the things that really drop the ball, right? You know, if you hate everything that they do, then it doesn't really matter what you think of different things that they implement.
At the end of the day, we're all playing the game, so it can't be that bad, right? We're all we're like, it's that meme. Have you seen the meme? It's like, yeah, F you, I'll see you tomorrow. And he's like leaving it out of the door, you know?
On the other side of the coin, though, you say like, oh, there's people that definitely like hate whatever Blizzard do. But on the other side of the coin, if I had $1 for every time there was a new expansion and I saw a thumbnail where it's like, they're actually listening. It's like, come on, I've heard that so many times.
Yeah.
I saw a post on Reddit like, "WoW, please don't ask me why I was browsing it. I was feeling adventurous."
Never go there.
I had a moment of weakness. Okay, I'm sorry, but I browsed it and there was like one post which had like thousands of upvotes, a gold plan, and whatever you can get there. And it was like, can we appreciate, can we just try to be more positive? And it was like, okay, you can look at it from a positive side. And he listed a bunch of things, and he listed, this is from Dragonflight, of course, he listed, that we have a team that is actually listening. I'm like, I've heard this so many times. They're actually listening.
Well,
like,
there's a flow chart. There's a flow chart. If you're a content creator and there's an update, the flow chart says, here's what you do. It's if they preview something and there's no like context or details, you make a video and you say, this is the best thing ever. It's going to change everything. The whole world's going to change. All the things that we've been asking for are finally going to be here.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they release any minute details, you rip it apart completely. And then you say it's going to be the worst game that's ever happened. and then you play it anyway.
Yeah.
And then you rinse and repeat the same process every time there's a major patch that they announced.
It's so
Anything
true.
like that. And it's
Dude, this is terrible. Fuck Blizzard. Next video.
Yep.
Here's my premium copy. Look at it, guys. I ordered it.
Yeah, exactly. So if anyone wants to become a YouTuber content creator out there, there's your formula. Have fun.
Boom. For free. You got that stuff for free.
So
yeah.
Go Jojo Go in chat says, if there's really strong-willed people that don't want to use LFD, let them not use it. And let the people that do want to use it. Now, at the same time, I do understand that argument, but there's different things. Like, you would have to take away the daily bonus for doing an LFD. And on top of it, if you really do like doing pickup groups outside of your guild, those are just not going to happen really all that much if you have LFD in. So LFD kind of changes the whole landscape. So to say just not use it, like, I don't know that you can really make that argument.
It's different not using like the new quest add-on, updates, right? Turning that off your interface. I think that's a very logical thing to do if you don't like it, but I feel like everybody else is going to be using it, so you're not going to find it
cut down
any
the
other way.
population.
I want to use it for non-pugs. I want to get in a 5-man group with my guild and just spam the button and go do all the dungeons and have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we use it. We usually 3-manned it. Like,
yeah, it's fun. It's actually really fun. You're just hanging out in a Discord call, spamming dungeons, talking about life or whatever, what have you.
Making fun of the 2 other people that joined and be like, dude, this guy, do you see what he's got? Look at what he's.
And then everyone needs on everything if you have 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then if they get mad about the fact that you 3 are needing it and disenchanting everything, you just kick them. You just vote kick.
This is like all the problems with LFD that you're talking about.
Hey, you know what? It is what it is. That's the world we live in, guys.
Oh, go Jojo. You must have just got here. Yes, LFD was part of 3.3. We just went over that. Yeah. I didn't realize it came in that late. But
reference, 3.3 was when ICC came out.
Yep.
Yeah. At the end of Wrath.
All right. So maybe this next one, Hamster, you've played a ton of Wrath, like private servers stuff. Maybe you could explain this to me, because I thought this already happened. Area of effect damage caps. I thought this already happened in TBC, where like everything, like, did they just reduce the targets? Like, maybe TBC is 20 targets and Wrath is 10 targets, and then it starts to break up damage.
That's actually a really good question.
Yeah, because I thought this changed in TBC. I never
thought about this.
Wait, what was it? The AOE cap got implemented?
Yeah, but it got implemented in TBC. Like, but maybe, maybe the TBC cap is 15 or 20, and this is 10. I don't like.
I have no idea. They don't give a number, do they?
They don't give a number of what it was before. Like, this is in the 3.3 notes.
Weird. I don't know.
I feel like, if anybody wants to write into us or let us know or tweet at us, like,
any AOE mages.
I feel like,
look it up.
I feel like 20 is the cap in TBC, and now they just downed it to 10 is what I think is going on here, but I don't know. But yeah, I was hoping somebody would know, but like, yeah, it's like, it threw me off when I saw this, so I wanted to throw it in.
Apparently, what I can read from WoW Wiki, at least, it says that the more mobs you have, the less damage your spells will do. So if you have 10 mobs and your Blizzard does 1,000, if you have 20, it does like 500. If you have 50, it does like 200 and stuff like that.
That change came in like TBC evenly too, though. Like, but I think like maybe the cap was 20, because that change definitely came in. That's why you could no longer do the like Moradon 280 mob pull, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So apparently it was already in TBC, but it's just like in patch 3.3, it's not new, so to say. It just gets like nerfed, I guess, harder or something like that.
Yeah, if anybody knows the actual intricacies, I'd love to hear that. It's like that one threw threw me off. Oh, so then the next second to last one we got here is all level 71 through 80 Battleground daily quests now award 25 arena points in addition to their current honor rewards. This is cool. Like I don't remember this either, but I guess like this came in 3.3.
I remember seeing the emblems, like you'd look at the quests and it would say rewards and it had like the honor and the arena points there. I think it's cool. I like it because not a lot of people like me do a lot of arena, and I want to get into it. And I think with Vault of Archivon and daily quests giving arena points, I might be more willing to learn how to play.
Dude, you might want to do it here in season 4, man. Like the change they just made here in season 4, you're getting like over double the points you were getting before. Like it's
maybe I'll give it a
nutty.
shot.
Yeah.
I am currently on a WoW like raid only break, so we'll see. Maybe I'll log in and get some lockouts done.
It's interesting. I mean, I'll do some 3s with you, some 2s or something.
Yeah, I'll jump on and do it.
Yeah, I got 2 different characters that are decked.
I have my Warlock and that's it. So I'm down to do whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're in current like PvE gear, SLSL will still be pretty good as long as you have your PvP trinket. I think
I have a full PvP set actually. I did I did enough just like honor grinding for the PvP set.
Well, I mean, you should try it out because like the arena points is actually crazy how many points you're getting at the moment.
Sweet, yeah, I'll have to jump on.
All right, then the last thing that was put in late 3.3 was looking for raid. This is when looking for raid came in, which is weird because I don't remember it in Cataclysm.
I don't remember LFR at all.
Yeah.
But is it like looking for raid or like is it looking for raid and raid finder? Are they two different things? Because raid finder is literally when you queue up and.
Thank you. So I think this was the first implementation of like just like trying to get a group going for a raid.
Yeah,
it's not like the dumbed down boss fights. It's just
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this will not have a lot of effect considering how crazy GDQP runs are and just how mainstream pugging these days is. I guess. Like, will people actually use this?
No.
I don't
just
think
join your
they'll even
Discord.
Yeah, I don't even know if they'll even put it in. Like for instance, Benediction. Like I've been using this server that has like 15 runs a day every day. GDKPs. You sign up on the Discord. It's kind of a lot.
It's great. I love it.
It's a parse through,
nice.
but like I've been making money.
I just use the bulletin board and sign up. Like I'll log in randomly and just be like, I feel like doing Hyjal, and I'll just be like, okay, here's one. And within 15 minutes, I'm in a Hyjal run. It's great.
Yeah, I've had like harder times getting in as a buyer, but my Warlock gets in as a carry in any run that I want.
You know what you do?
I just link my 99s and 98 parses, and they're like, okay, you're a carry.
I'm going to give you a secret. Here's what you do. And this might be toxic, but just do it. You whisper the GDKP guy and you say, hey, I want to come in as a buyer. I've got a 50K budget. And then you get in there and you don't bid on a single thing.
The problem is you'll get flagged on this server for doing stuff like that. Like
and then just do it again. They can't resist it. They don't look at they just trust. Well, they won't they can't resist the 50. They see 50K gold and they're like, nom 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 nom.
But they'll ask you to put it in trade.
I've never been asked.
I was asked when I was trying to get my rogue in. I was trying to get my rogue in with an 8K budget prior to Sunwell.
It's probably because you're on a rogue. That's probably why.
And they're like, this was what I didn't join via the server, but I joined this before I knew about the server.
You just like whispered.
Yeah, and the guy's like, here, drop your gold on me, and I put it on there. He's like, 8K is not enough. I was like, oh.
Really?
Yeah.
The most they've ever done to me is like they'll have me go to a doll and like they inspect my gear, and that's it.
Yeah, see, I was at
But then
a
again, I'm a
doll.
warlock. I could just press Seed of Corruption and do max damage in greens.
Yep.
Like I'll be, oh, cool, I did number 3 in total raid damage. Like, so maybe they don't care. I don't know. Maybe maybe I'm a carry even when I'm a buyer.
All right, well, that's all I had. Do you guys have any like off like weird changes that you remember in Wrath that you wanted to mention here at the end?
I'm thinking.
I'm thinking as well. Fish up your turtle mounts, guys. Make sure you do that Wrath launch. It's a very low drop from any pool in Northrend, so go fishing.
Oh, that's something that's something that changes too. You can fish anywhere and still get skill in Wrath. You just might not, if it's a higher level area, you might just fish up junk instead of fishing up something that actually comes from there. But another thing I found out in TBC is you get a point every time you fish. And yeah, classic vanilla.
In TBC you do?
Yep, classic vanilla is not like, well, okay, I guess I've only fished to 100 skill, but every fish that I caught gave me a skill point. Whereas
it falls off. From 1 to like 300, it's a guaranteed point in TBC.
Oh, and then
but then
changes.
Eventually, yeah, it'll take like 5 fish, like from 350 plus, it's like 5 or 10 fish per point.
Okay, see, well, in vanilla, because I had to do it on so many hardcore characters that died, I remember like 1 to like 75 was like, you got a skill point up like every time up to 30, and then past that it was every 2 times, and then past that it was every 3 times, then past that it was every 4 times. And it was just like, it was horrible. But
on all of my hardcore characters, I've never done fishing or cooking on any of them. I just can't do it. I don't have the time.
Yeah, well, I did like the highest fishing I ever worked up was on my final hardcore rogue, because I was like, I am drinking tonight, so I'm going to fish, and I'm not going to go die, and I'm going to make sure I have enough potions to like get me this freaking achievement. Like, I was so scared at the end there because I had lost so many rogues in the freaking shadow zone, and I just remember being like,
there in the end.
I did with 2 different characters too.
And it's the best feeling in the world, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When you finally ding 6. We got to get Hamsterwheel to play hardcore. I know you were saying you played it on a, was it Turtle WoW, I'm guessing?
I do. I am still currently doing the I guess 1 life challenge on the Vanilla Plus, but I don't say anyone because I'm so paranoid someone might recognize me and then grief me. So
yeah, you gotta be careful.
I have a bunch of footage already collected and it's going well.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
but I don't know. It's just a lack of time. But
I know Azimuth did it on a private server. I believe on a private server, PvP enabled the entire time.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, he's the only person to ever hit 60, 1 to 60 PvP flagged the entire run.
Crazy.
What a trooper.
And he fought people. It wasn't like a dead server. Like, he actually was killing people on the way up, which was wild to me.
It's just wild. This is wild.
That's a whole different game.
It really is. I would love a real hardcore server like Season Mastery 2, and like they enable like hardcore PvP servers, like 1 life only servers, and you go in there and it's
both
like
people are in the same.
That's what I've been saying. That's
Exactly.
what I said when I guessed it on F's and chat. Like, if the other side had something to lose, that would be some fun shit.
Yeah, it would be awesome. And like griefing, you just grief him back. Like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, you killed my level 30. Let me get on my 60, like my 1 level 60, and come over there and mess with your characters for a bit.
See,
and then it's evil or equal.
That's the problem I think you would get into. I feel like that type of server would have to have like a 3 or 4 level cap to where you couldn't attack somebody who was like lower, and that would make it really fun.
Yeah, like you couldn't attack someone that doesn't give you honor or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, because that would be really fun. Where like the server you're talking about, if you could, there was no stipulations, it'd be really fun for the first couple weeks.
And
then
people
it
get
wouldn't
set
be
up,
fun.
you
Yeah.
know?
And then people would like fly by, and then all of a
You'd-
sudden you just have like this level 60 crew just going around killing everyone on the server.
I have so many fun ideas for like Classic Plus. One day, I want like zone ownership. You know, I want like every zone in the game to be like owned by a certain faction, and if they own it, they get like an income for that zone. You know, like all kinds of crazy stuff
It's
that's
kind of
going on.
it's kind of like the Warhammer MMO that never really got off the ground. I played beta and that.
It would promote so much open world PvP if there was just a reward to owning a zone, and then like the Horde takes Elwyn Forest and the Alliance gets alerted like on the map. It's like a red Elwyn Forest now, and they're like, "Oh, we got to go kill all the Hordes that are there." You know, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Also,
well,
my
guys,
recording just dropped. I don't know what's going on.
this has been a banger of an episode here. Lost power in the middle. I think it went longer even just because like we came back the next day, had even more to talk about. But yeah, this is going to be one of the biggest ones ever. So enjoy. But we're going to have to like end it now though. So don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. If you want to send us your WoW stories or anything long form, email us at wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to join the MASH Discord and interact with the host of this show or any host on any show on the MASH network, it's mash.gg/Discord. How can you help the podcast? Well, guys, we haven't had a review for a couple weeks now. We caught up on the ones that popped in, but we need more reviews. We need reviews on Apple Podcasts and reviews on warcraftradio.com/directory would be great too. And those help us. The stars on Spotify definitely help us. So help us out with that. And then the very end here, I am launching a new YouTube channel that's just clips of the show. It's just going to be clips that are anywhere from 3 minutes to 20. And it's just going to be different things that I think are pertinent and kind of cool. And so it's not up yet, but we'll definitely let you know.
All of Winky's tangents will be there. All the tankies will be there.
Winky's got some great tangents that are definitely going to be clips going up there, but I've got a few clips from before, and I'm gonna
get blasted
try
in
that.
the comments. I don't like this.
Oh man! All right, well, Mel, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Mel Overwatch, or you can find me in game on Mel Arena.
All right, and Winky, where can we find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Winky, or on YouTube, WinkyPodamus. I've been uploading a lot of my Grand Theft Auto stuff there recently.
Nice. Sorry, I caught you. I should have done hamster because you've taken that big hit of the vape. Caught you right in the middle of it.
I'm used to it.
And hamster, where can we find you?
Just on YouTube. I have social media, but I don't post there, so please don't go there. I'm too lazy to keep up with it. So just check me out on YouTube. Hamsterwheel Gaming is my official name. Just because if you type in Hamsterwheel, you get like 1 million hamster videos, and you have to like scour until you find my channel.
It's funny. I just typed it in, and you were the first person to pop up.
Oh damn! Okay, nice.
We got that algo working for us now.
I'm really curious. The people that are genuinely looking for hamster wheels and like, why do I get a gaming? What?
On YouTube videos, like I need to figure out how to use this hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Please
Like,
show
hey
me.
guys, this happened to WoW Classic. What?
See, you should have been hamster ball because the hamsters in the ball is like the coolest thing ever. I loved it as a kid.
True. That's very true.
All right. And you can find me on Twitter at Blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. You can find this show and me streaming from time to time on twitch.tv/BlazinBob. If you were a follower, you would have got to see me do Drunk Arena last night, and it actually went better than you would have thought. So, yeah, definitely come and follow and see our show. We do it anywhere from Friday to Sunday, just depending on guests' availability. So follow us on Twitter to make sure you never miss the show going live. Oh, let's get out of here.
Bye, guys.
Bye.